Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our rewatch of Game of Thrones with Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. It was written by D&D, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss, and directed by David Nutter, the Nutman. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And the Nutman, going out with a fizzle, not a bang.
Yeah, I was a little sad to hear, actually, that this was the
Yeah.
Nut Man. Maybe you told me before that he had, like, one more to go or something like that, and it would be episode 4, but, yeah, I guess, he's got a lot of other good ones, you know? He's
Oh
done
yeah,
he's
to
done a
be
great
sure.
job, and, but, yeah, this one, I don't know if it's all his fault, I guess directing-wise.
You can only do so much with the
Yeah,
script you're
like
given,
he had to just kind of go from a whole lot. Like there's so much that happens from beginning to end in this episode. It's
Yeah.
kind of it is nuts, and I think we start to see that turn a little bit in Thrones with the pacing. After the long night, we've begin to uh, I see the gripe, and I actually kind of like, usually I don't know, I try to see the counter side and like see the other side without the gripe and
No,
see if it's, warranted and everything. And then after, like, it actually does, I don't know,
no, I
lower
mean
the
it's not good.
impact of,
It's
yeah.
not good.
But
It's getting worse. It's and like
mm-hmm.
jarringly, like we are clearly dealing with season 8 being either two halves of a 5-episode season or 2 seasons, between episodes 1 through
Yeah,
3 and episodes 4 through 6,
I don't know how many times I was watching this episode and I'm like, it could have ended right there. Or like it should have ended right there. Oh, it
mhm,
should have ended there. Like there was many times where
just
they
keeps going.
could have ended the episode, and there's like on paper, you would think like, oh, we're getting more big things that happen from multiple episodes into one. Like it's what more could you ask for? You're getting more densely packed epicness, So that should be a good thing. But I don't know. With this show, it just doesn't really work that way. Like it.
Skipping thing to thing to thing to thing, but,
Mhm.
yeah, David Nutter, I mean, he has been on some of the biggies. Reigns of Castamere, that's a Nutman. That's a
Boom.
Nutman episode. Um, the final 2 episodes of season 5, The Dance of Dragons and Mother's Mercy. So, where we say goodbye to Jon Snow and Dany mounts her dragon for the first time
Mm.
and rides away, that whole
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's the season 5 finale, not the season 4 finale. She doesn't Yeah, right?
Is
Is that
that
the first time she rides them?
season 4 finale? Is Watchers on the Wall and the Children?
Oh, yeah, so
Um.
that's the she does not that one, that she flies it for the first time
Yeah, Dance of
in the pit.
Dragons and Mother's
Yeah,
Mercy. That's season 5. So.
alright.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he directed those, clearly a lot of good stuff under his belt, um,
Mhm.
but, season 8, he directed half the episodes 1, 2, and 4, um, so
Hmm.
2 of the 3 low points of the season, I would say, um
Yeah. Yeah,
which
that's
you're in a tough position here, Nutman, I'm sorry about it.
the
Um,
Nut Man. Yeah, usually every time we've entered an episode with the Nut Man, it's been a banger.
it's emphatic,
Yeah, it's
a
usually
moment.
been quite good. So I think I don't know. He's earned his stripes. Um,
Oh, for
but
sure,
yeah, and
for
that's,
sure, but,
some scenes are actually good. Like there are some
no,
like
not
little
like
moments that you can pick out here that are like, I don't know,
and
that
here's
are
the
good
thing,
Thrones
is that
moments.
it's literally the pace. That's been beaten into the fucking ground, that critique, I know, but, like, it is, like, that is the problem with
Yeah.
this episode. It's the fact that we are getting probably 3 episodes of an any given Thrones season packed into one fucking episode. Like, it's just thing after thing after thing, and, it's a lot, but, so the things themselves, not terrible,
Mhm. Yeah.
but it's hilarious. I can't wait to talk a little bit more when we get to a certain part of the episode, but, about the inside the episode at the end,
Hmm.
with the D&D, but,
Hmm.
if you would like to, we can go ahead and begin at the Winterfell, uh, starts at the funeral, we'll head to the
Ah,
feast thereafter,
okay.
and we kick off the episode with what was my favorite scene of the episode,
Hmm.
I didn't think that we could,
Okay.
uh I was like, "Well, hopefully we can top this," and by the end of the episode, I found myself going, "Yeah, no, nothing topped it." Um,
Hmm.
the
I
funeral at the beginning is probably the last truly good, emotionally weighty moment.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I think I took it for granted here on this watch just because it was the opener of the
yeah,
episode, and I didn't, like, think of it as a favorite, but, like, man, wow. No, it actually
same.
it got me to cry like, I'm
Uh,
crying. Like, I instantly,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, fuck, man, they got me." Like, just seeing Jorah alone, like, just there
dude,
still, I'm like, "Oh, fuck." And then you have Amelia Clark walking over and
sobbing
bawling her
over
eyes out, and I'm
him.
like,
Mhm.
"Okay, yeah." So, okay, yeah, this is definitely the scene out of the episode that gets you to feel the most.
Yeah, no, and I mean,
That's for
like,
sure.
straight up, in terms of dealing with the ramifications of what's happened and feeling the emotional weight of everything that the characters have gone through. There is not another emotional moment like this the rest of the show, which is super disappointing. It's super I think that, you could argue that the last 5
Uh,
minutes of the show are like but it's not the same kind of emotion. It's just like,
yeah, it's
"Oh,"
just the literal send off of the show.
yeah.
Like it's
So, like, this is
hmm.
it. This is it, like, this is
Wow.
the last good emotional moment, I think, and so,
I
the
think you're
I
right.
mean, the pyres go for as far as the eye can see, it seems like, piled with multiple bodies, thousands of corpses, Jorah, Theon, Lyanna Mormont, um, among them,
Oh.
uh, Dolores Ed. It was a tough one. It was a tough one, and the way they achieved some of the effects in this, I remember watching the documentary
Mm-hmm.
on the final season's making. Jorah, Ian Glenn is literally laying on a plate of glass. So when you see the fire, like, bubbling up underneath him, it's not like it's a practical effect, like, there is actually fire underneath
Oh,
him, but
okay.
he's
Yeah.
not being touched by it, so
Wow, that's
I thought
pretty
that's
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks good, like, and that's the thing that you can say about the rest of these episodes, that they fucking look good. They look good, you know?
Yes, the technical and the right like I was gonna say the critical side of the show is still great, but writing is a big
I
part
mean, there's one
of
very
that.
massive
Yeah.
piece of the
So
critical stuff that is not doing great,
but
but,
we still have all the same actors. We still have all the same costumes, all the same sets, all the same great
it
looking
looks wonderful.
things.
It looks
But
wonderful, and I mean, like, even this eulogy that John gives, you might argue it's the best written thing for the rest of the fucking show. I mean, the way that he delivers, "They fought together, and they died together."
I
He's
don't know.
very much so channeling.
Yes. How did I not catch it? How do you
Yeah,
I don't know. You always catch these things. And then me, I'm just like at first I'm dumb. I'm like I look at him like, "Huh, he sounds like different." That I just noticed that he was
yeah,
different. Not that like, who is he trying to imitate right now? And I'm just like,
yeah.
"Huh, it sounded different."
He's emulating Ned hard
Yeah,
here.
and I rewatch it
Even
and
the
it's just
haircut,
boom.
he's got the little tiny bun on the back of his
Mm.
head and the hair falling down his back.
Wow.
Um, and he's got the giant cloak on. It's just like
Mhm.
that is who he is trying to emulate his father, Ned Stark, speaking
Well,
to the
together.
people.
Yeah, or like
They fought together
yeah,
and they died together. Um
the
I
show's
mean, it's an
incredible.
incredible speech, man, and it's probably Kit Harington's strongest moment for the rest of probably the entirety of season 8. Um, like, it's difficult to reconcile that it doesn't get
Mhm.
better than this. You know, like that's insane. But like to me,
I think
but
I think you're right though. That's the thing, is that there isn't a single scene that I can remember. Like,
yeah. I mean, like there are moments. There are moments that feel a certain way that are like iconic or they're strong, but
mm-hmm,
they're just they just don't give you the fulfillment this one does. And
mm-mm.
I love the way the Night's Watch funeral speech, the way it all comes back around for him, and he's like, "They were the shields that guarded the realms of men. We shall never see their like again." Uh,
Damn.
that
That's
I was like, I felt it, man. Like it's just really cool to see an actually
mm,
weighty moment from a character who has had such a long journey, sending the people off, achieved what his entire fucking story has been. Like that is
hmm.
the eradication of the army of the dead. He's sending off. You know, every word out of his mouth, he means it with every ounce of his being,
Yes,
and
he
it makes
does.
it hit hard. You know, like so. I loved this scene, um, but now
Hmm.
their watch is ended, and the assembled leaders go forward with torches to light the pyres. Sansa Stark weeps over Theon's body, taking a pin with the Stark direwolf sigil off her own gown and adding it to his chest to show that he was a Greyjoy and a Stark himself. One of the things that I don't love about this episode, um, and the scene, that I don't know how you fix it, is that Yara's not here.
Oh. Yeah, I guess. Well, so she just said, "I'm taking back the Iron Islands in your name." She's already done that, so like she's just chilling there. Though, is that the idea that
I
she's?
think that's the idea. Which I mean, like, it would be impractical for her to like I take it this is the next fucking morning, you know, like this isn't
Yeah,
they didn't let it probably took a fucking while
they're like,
to
damn. All right,
gather these
we gotta
bodies.
clean up.
Um,
One, we gotta like. There's just a shit. There's just shit
there
everywhere.
are bodies
Yeah,
everywhere.
like clean up. That probably took like a whole day. And then like, all right,
They
now we
had to
gotta
build the
build these
fires.
fire things. That's. I mean, I don't know. That's
This might have taken a fucking week,
the
man.
the
Like
thought
this,
crossed my mind of the fire that they are lighting here, just to mourn the dead, is almost, it's not, but like it almost reminded me of like the size of the greatest fire the North has ever seen that Mance
right.
Rayder lit, and it's like I don't know. Like they almost got there unintentional. Like this is just a funeral. Like this wasn't like a
Mhm.
purposeful. Like I will light a fire to signal you guys. This is just like, well, we have to do it because it's just what we do.
There's
Um,
just that many bodies
yeah,
too. Like that's also an
you
important bit of it.
think right there. Well, they're kind of, I don't know. It's weird how like you have to die north of the wall or like something. But like the Night King's dead. Say someone
No,
dies north of the wall and you don't burn their body. Since the Night King is there, do they come back still? You
no,
know?
no.
They're
I don't
just
think so.
so it's done forever. Like
I
since
think that shit is gone.
gun okay.
I think that they will never observe a different funerary practice just in case.
Yeah, this it
Um,
just sticks. Like this will stick.
yeah, like
They're like,
we burn
"Well,
bodies now.
you know what? If you're dead, or I think that's how I would feel, you know, like I'd be like, if I'm dead, I am dead and I'd rather be burned so I do
Cremate my
not
shit.
come
Yeah.
back." Yeah.
No,
Um
and I mean, like, I believe the wildlings already practiced that tradition because of that fact. Like, they
mhm.
knew the army of the dead existed, so they did their best to observe that if possible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that as far as Winterfell is concerned, it's not likely that anyone other than a Stark
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
not getting
cuz
their body.
I just didn't know if it was a Night King thing that makes people just come back and join the army of the dead, or if it's just like a
A
world
magic
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it's just like
Um,
a thing that just happens in this world. If you're north of the wall, it's part of the magic of the wall sort of thing. I
they
don't know.
did evolve
Um,
the whole how that works, like how they come back to life quite a bit. You know, because the first one we see that comes south of the wall and attacks Jon and and Jeor Mormont at Castle Black, I don't think the Night King is close enough to do his little raise up thing, you know? So, like, that's one of those things where I think that's
Mhm.
just we're looking at something they evolved
I see.
over the course of the show more so than it being like a whole. They just kind of realized what they wanted it to be as time passed. So, I truly think that I don't think they just automatically come back to life. I do think it has something to do with the Night King's magic and,
Mhm.
uh,
And now that
with,
he's gone, it's just
the
bloodline.
army of the
Everything's just gone for good.
it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
I guess yeah, the north, even north of the wall, is starting to warm up eventually. So like I guess
Mhm.
even if it is a world thing or magic thing, something's changed up there. So yeah, it's gone. We're all good.
Yeah, we're
Um,
good now. We're good now. I think
yeah.
that's the idea here, but yeah, it's real sad to see Sansa say goodbye to Theon and Daenerys lighting Jorah's pyre, and
Mm.
it's funny that, like, I've initially had a little bit of, like, a, like, "Alright," like, they just needed on someone's pyre, you know, like, because it's Lyanna Mormont, which this time it hit me a little harder than it has, you know? I think Lyanna's a real one and all that, but when it comes to
Yeah, I
like,
see what
every
you
other
mean. They had a
situation where
moment
somebody's
with
lighting
that
a fire,
person. Like
it's
it's.
much more personal, um,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought about the moments with Lyanna for Jon, and she's the one who stands up for him at every turn, prior to him going south. She's the one who basically declares him king in the North initially, you know, like,
Is
it's,
this a hot take? It might not be. Is Lyanna Mormont the closest in character to Jon Snow?
she might be. She might
I
be,
don't know of another character that is um like
I'm like,
pure just honor and
fierceness.
kind of the
Yeah.
right thing always. Like they always make the
Mhm.
right decision. Like we don't get to see enough of Lyanna. I don't think to like
Oh,
to
yeah, I mean, she
to
dies
fully
extremely young,
know. But like
um,
she charges
she
a giant, an undead
mhm.
giant, and stabs that motherfucker in the eye. So like yeah, I don't know. I'd say
She carries that
um
spirit, to be sure. I
yeah.
think that that's fair, you know, and I think there's something to be said for the fact that she's named after John's mom, you know? Like, that is why she's named Lyanna, is because of Lyanna Stark. Um,
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
like,
There is
there's
that.
clearly a connection, a deep connection
Cuz
between the Mormonts and the Starks, and,
Dolores
uh
Ed was there, but Sam needed to have someone, and that was kind of the only one that worked there. And John
well,
could have had Dolores Ed, and
oh, of course,
it
but
could have worked
even
better.
going back further with Lyanna, her what, great uncle was John's mentor and taught him all sorts of shit at the
Hmm.
wall. Like Gior was, I'm assuming, her uncle, because I think, or not her uncle. Jorah calls her cousin. So
Okay. Jorah calls
um
her cousin, so that's an uncle.
he could be your uncle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so
Huh.
um
Uncle or great uncle. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a
yeah, one way or
generation
the other.
removed
Yeah, something
there.
there.
But yeah, I guess they are the Mormonts.
Yeah.
Um
So we're
yeah.
putting
Yeah. He's it's his Lord Commander's family,
mhm,
at the
yeah.
very least at rest. So I think yeah, I don't know, it does
No, I mean,
track.
like, I wanted to say, like, I've always kinda felt like it was odd. This was the first time I ever didn't feel that way. Like, that's
Mm,
kinda what I
I
wanted to
see.
clarify, was that,
Mhm.
like, I was like, "Oh," like, I think taking the time we have with the show has kind of made it just all the
Mhm.
more clear just how important Lyanna was to Jon and just how important their kind of their connection was. Because I think you bring up a good point. I hadn't considered that, like, if there was anybody Jon looked at in the Northern Lords sort of like gatherings as admirable or
I
like of the same mind as him, it was probably Lyanna. Like,
Yeah. Like Varys is the only other character that comes close, but even
but he's
he
not.
is
Yeah, I'm like
not
Davos,
really. Mm,
but
mhm.
I'm like Davos is pretty close, but like in terms of
Ned
just the position
Stark.
they're in, what they get to do.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah, yeah.
Ned's the only other one. But
No, but like I think it's cool that John shares such a close kinship with the Mormonts at large. I think that even Jorah, despite one of his poorer decisions in the times when he was really down on his luck, besides that,
hmm,
pretty close in character to
this
to
is true.
John.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so like there's
Sorry,
a lot of
Jorah.
stuff that
Yeah, sorry I slept on you a little bit. You just kind of have a little thing that taints uh your history and
yeah,
all. But
yeah.
I'll give him that. You're not your worst deed. I'd say,
No,
but
you're not,
um,
but yeah, no, and so it's sad to see all these people go. Arya lights Beric Dondarrion's pyre. Um, that was a nice last little, and it's just
mm,
like all the memories flooding back of the history these characters have. The first time Arya meets Beric, she looks half as old as she is now. I know she's not
that.
literally half
Oh
as old
my
as she is now,
God.
but she
Yeah.
looks like a fucking child when she meets Beric. Um, so a lot of these characters have just come a really long way with the people they're meeting, or the people they're sending into the beyond. But,
Man.
yeah, so that speech and that funeral, my favorite scene of the episode.
Mm,
There's more fun stuff, but that just hit me a little bit more.
okay. I like
But,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that night, the survivors hold a victory feast in the Great Hall of Winterfell. So many died, so the mood is a bit like I like how it starts, and it's kinda like everyone's just kinda eating in silence, like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
like we did that. We really like, and we're all
Yeah.
really hungry. So like, yeah, we all just cleaned up. We just burned a bunch of people. All right.
Gendry sits down with the Hound. "Where's Arya?" He's like, "You can still smell the bodies burning, and that's what you're thinking
It's
about?"
like I really need to
Uh,
just find Arya. No particular reason at all. I just would really like to find her. Man, yeah, this.
and the
Uh,
Hound putting it that way, like, "I get it.
yeah.
They're dead. You're not." Like, live it up.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, fair enough. This probably was like he's had a crush on Arya for a while now. Even all before this. This was the night before the long night. Like, yeah, this was definitely Gendry's best experience he's ever had, and he's gonna chase that forever, like moving
Yeah.
forward. And now it's like I don't know. It's kind of he wins here. I'd say he's a lord. He
Yeah,
got up.
he gets what he needs, he
Yeah,
walks past the high table, and Daenerys is like, "Yo, Gendry." He's like, yeah, yeah."
yeah. Why she got to
Um,
start this so?
Ominously,
Yes. Oh, you are the son of King Robert Baratheon, who had a claim to the throne at one point. Is this correct?
which is also news to, like, everybody in the room besides 3 people.
Wait,
Uh,
that's actually right. People are like not in the know of
People
this
don't
at
know
all.
this. Yeah. Um,
Oh wow.
so
Wow,
this
that
is like
kind
every
of
so when she says that, everyone even further goes, like, "Oh, no, what's she about to do to the
yeah,
boy
like
Gendry right now?" But I love
mm,
the look whenever she goes, "You are the son of the king, Robert Baratheon." It flashes to Davos, who looks at Jon, and Jon looks at Davos like, "I'm sorry." I kinda had to tell her,
oh,
but
okay. That's
Davos
true.
looks at him like, "Come on, dude, like, you can't tell her that," so I love that moment, but,
Hmm.
just a fun little and this is really the episode where they start hammering home that what she has is fear, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
it's literally said later on that Tyrion like, Sansa looks at Tyrion's like, "You're afraid of her." And
Mhm.
so whenever Davos looks at Jon and Jon, he, winces. He doesn't just, "I'm sorry." He's like, "Fuck." He's like, "She's
Like,
gonna kill his
oh,
ass."
that could have yeah,
Um,
like my actions could have very, very bad implications.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I don't know, it was like D&D kind of said that that was the focus of this last season, is that a lot of times these stories don't they focus on the good people and the heroic moments and everything like that, but they uh-oh my my camera
Camera cam loose.
the cable. I knew
It's all right. We'll get it popping again. In the meantime, everybody on YouTube, you can just look at me for a sec.
I shouldn't have
Take it all in.
trusted. I shouldn't have trusted that it worked at
Take it all in. Just
on
me.
the first go around. I should not have trusted that at all. I should
Yeah,
just
these
known.
things happen. These
But
things happen.
anyway,
But
okay.
anywho, we'll push forth. Uh, Gendry humbly responds that he didn't know that he was Robert's son until after the man had died. And Daenerys then asks him, "Okay, then who's the Lord of Storm's End now? Does anybody know?" Everybody kind of looks around like, that's kind of unclear. Stannis is dead. Renly is dead. There's no real Baratheon left.
Since
She's like,
Stannis, there's just Storm's End has just kind of been
vacant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
Well,
Dragonstone.
Stannis
Yeah.
didn't
I
even
guess.
hold Storm's End. It was Renly. So, like, who the
Oh,
fuck's been holding Storm's End for so long?
Dragon. Oh, that's. Oh, I guess that is. For some reason, I thought Dragonstone and Storm's End were the same place, but that's where Renly. What like where?
That's where Renly's camp was based out of, and Stannis was
Oh.
based on Dragonstone. So
Hmm.
I'm like, who's been the Lord of Storm's End for fucking years?
Power
Like, did
resides where men believe, or where
I'm like,
people
did it get
believe. It
passed to
just.
like Peter at some point? I feel like that's possible.
Yeah, maybe it's grouped in with the Veil, or something. I don't know. Yeah, um, yeah, just kind of a non-factor in the show, I
Okay,
guess.
interesting. So if it leaves the seat vacant, like Stannis became Lord of Storm's End after Renly's death,
Okay.
and Joffrey's death. Okay, no wait. The Lannister and Tyrell forces consolidated control of the Stormlands in the name of King Joffrey, presumably making Joffrey Lord of Storm's End. But Stannis claims the title, and in season 4, Joffrey's death, his titles, presumably including Lord of Storm's End, are passed on to Tommen. Stannis is defeated at Winterfell in season 5, which makes Tommen the Lord of Storm's End. Tommen commits suicide, and then the seat's vacant. So it's been vacant since season 6. But if there is a vacant seat by like the ancestral holding of the castle,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the king.
The
The
crown.
king is the
Yeah,
Lord of Storm's End. Okay,
so
that makes
Cersei,
sense.
I guess.
Technically, was
Right.
until
Yeah.
this.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Good old Gendry though. A little promotion. Last good
love
thing
that for him.
Daenerys kind of does.
It's certainly among them.
Yeah. There's. Let's see. What else does she do from here on out that's good?
Like,
I'm only really thinking of bad things.
yeah,
From
I think
here
I am
on
too. I'm
out.
like, as far as I recall, you could spin stuff. She avenges her friend Missandei.
Yeah, she did do that. Very much
You know,
so. Like, really much.
probably more so than she needed to.
Yeah.
But anywho, she just decides that Gendry is the new Lord of Storm's End as a reward for his heroics, and Gendry is shocked and says he can't be. He's only Robert's bastard, and Daenerys quickly addresses this by announcing that in her power as queen, he is Gendry Baratheon because she says it is so.
A weird delivery here, honestly. Could have
A bad line.
it's like I get like what they're going for. It's like, I'm allowing you, like I'm like that doesn't matter anymore. Like the title, like I'm giving you your title, but it's like it's very much like thank me. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
am the
Like
reason. Like and
she's telling him that you wouldn't be this without me. Like, and she wants him, like what her and Tyrion talk about in a second when he's like, oh, so now you got a Lord of Storm's End who will be forever loyal to you. That's a good idea, you know?
Like, yeah,
And she's like, yeah, you're not the only one that's clever.
it's like, okay. I mean, fair, yeah, good move. And she's getting the North a little bit on her side. She got them to cheer. Sansa is actually, she doesn't like this. Like, she sees the North kind of respond to her in a good way.
Yeah,
And she's
flipping.
kind of like, Sansa's like, does not like that at all. I don't know if that's only it. Is that the only reason Sansa kind of gets upset here? Is that Dany's kind of gaining a little bit of control, or is there
I
something
think
else
that
going on that I don't know?
No, I think that's it. I think that she's watching Dany in the wake of tragedy and loss and everything continue to focus on consolidating power for herself. Like this was, and this is a good veiled act of revelry. It's a celebration. We're going to give a hero the biggest promotion of his
Yeah,
life. Like that's huge. That is worthy of celebration. But Sansa sees it for what it is, which is the
yeah,
political act,
yeah.
not an actual.
Should this have really been the first thing that we get down to business with?
Yeah.
Is like, I guess.
Or should we be getting down to business at all? I think
Yeah.
is kind of what Sansa's thinking. Like it's
Like, really,
so
like
yeah.
this is a feast, and we're playing the game here right now, like for real, kind of
hmm
thing. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow.
But yeah. So all the while, Sansa looks over at the exchange between Daenerys and Tyrion when Tyrion compliments this action, and she looks severely disappointed, and Tyrion kind of responds with a little bit of a like, yeah, yeah, I see, but it is what it is. It was smart. It was smart, but despite any lingering resentment, the mood is lightened and the hall becomes more celebratory after this when Davos proposes the toast to Gendry Baratheon, Lord of Storm's End. And it's just a nice little moment between
Yes.
them, like how far they've come. And
Yeah. See, that's
love
what
that.
Dany should have done. She should have made it like, hey, let's celebrate this moment. Not like,
Yeah.
hey, I did this for you. You're welcome. Let's like, hey, no, you're Gendry. You're the hero. You are the blacksmith. You're the one who forged all these weapons, blah, blah, blah. And
Mhm.
without you, we couldn't have done this. So you are the Lord
Yeah.
of Storm's End. And yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for more if she's going to do this. But, love Davos. Davos just comes in clutch every time when you need him.
He's like, my boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I love it. But
Hmm.
Davos's mood quickly sours. Tyrion talks to Davos briefly, who tells him about Melisandre's death, how
Mm.
he was going to kill her, but then she died. Or her god did it to her. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it means. I hated Melisandre, but clearly the Lord of Light was around. It was the last connection. Her last connection to it ended with her,
Mm-hmm.
and he's wondering, will this divine power directly intervene in their affairs only to leave them after the great danger past? Is there nothing left? What do we do now? And Tyrion's like, I don't think thinking about that too much is going to help anything. I don't think it's going to help you be any happier. And Davos is like, I'm not trying to be happy. And Tyrion's like, good. We've got a lot more problems to face if you want to worry about those.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, maybe Cersei will just kill us all and our problems will be solved. He's like, yeah,
yeah.
that's easy. Like, we just got through the Night King, the Long Night, and now this is like harder. This is like just worse to deal with because like the Night King, even though he's terrible and one of the worst threats you can imagine, at least it's just like pure evil, and that, and everyone is just fighting against it. But now it's like all of these manipulations and games that are being played. I don't know. It's just so much more complicated, and it's
like,
like they'd rather deal with the Night King than Cersei.
what's more sinister to deal with? Like evil incarnate or a human being who has descended into such madness that she's so purely evil? Like
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. It's funny, but yeah, the human problems are more difficult.
they are. They
Here.
are. They're a little bit more pressing, but we have defeated them, but we still have us to deal with, he says. And Tyrion then Bran Stark pointing out that as Ned Stark's last trueborn son, he should be the lawful heir to Winterfell in the north. Bran's like, nah, I can't be. Three-Eyed Raven now, man. And he's like, you don't want. He's like, I don't really want anymore.
Sure about
And
that?
Tyrion's like, I envy you. That'd be nice. And he goes, I wouldn't. I mostly live in the past.
The one line that I actually kind of liked from Bran, like
Yeah.
at least he's self-aware enough to be like, no, this shit sucks. Like I am actually not a human anymore. Like no, I do live in the past. I don't have a life anymore. But yeah, it is really funny just to hear him be like, no, I don't want anymore. But come 2 episodes, Tyrion, I'm gonna really need you to lock me
Come
in
through for me,
as
dog.
lock me in as King of the Seven Kingdoms if you don't mind. But
Yeah. I don't know, bro.
it's
I don't
maybe
know.
not a want, to him it's more of like it's just a necessity. It's just what has to happen. Oh my god, that's incredible. Okay, yes,
Yeah.
I
I got the.
just noticed them.
I
Yes.
noticed what scene we're getting to, so I had to post them up.
Let's go.
Kind of hugging and kissing. But Tormund and Sansa encourage Jon to chug an entire horn of wine in one go. John's like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drink. Tormund's like, all in one go, and
Yeah.
Sansa's like, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You can do it. And he's like, vomiting is not celebrating.
Come on,
And
guys.
Tormund goes,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it
yes, it
is.
is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, he's like, and I love that Sansa's just kind of there too. Like, yeah, dude. No, come on. Let's
Get
get
it,
it.
dude. Let's do this thing.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. Just chill out, man. John, come on. You need
Let
me.
loose.
Yeah.
Tonight's the night.
Let's go, man.
But
And
I love that Tormund goes to the Dragon Queen. Like he's like, fuck yeah, shout out to Daenerys. This is hard. And all the hall cheers, and Daenerys stands up and makes her own toast to Arya Stark, the hero of Winterfell, which is a cool thing to be titled.
it's pretty tough.
And that prompts even more cheers and gets a smile from the Hound. And Jon and Daenerys share a smile, which is noticed by Sansa, who quickly leaves the table. She's like, I like it, don't like it one bit. And meanwhile, Brian settles into playing his I have never style drinking game with his brother Jaime, Brienne of Tarth, and Podrick Payne. And Jaime and Brienne playfully argue over whether or not she told him she was an only child, but Brienne ends up having to take a drink anyway. And then Jaime tells Brienne she danced with Renly Baratheon. She looks at Pod like, "You tell him that?" Pod's like, "No, I didn't." And she drinks. And I loved the vibe at this table. It's a lot of fun. Brienne doesn't let loose. Tyrion's having fun for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah, like he's been all business mode like the whole time and failing at it as well. Like maybe his life is just to do this. Like this is just what he's good
he
at.
needs to be on,
kind of manipulating from the background. If he's gonna do anything, just kind of do it like he did before, whenever it was needed, sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I liked that. I love these scenes in Thrones. So like that's.
I do too.
This is like the filler. Like this is what I want.
The character
more
moments you want to
of.
see.
Yeah. And but this, I don't know. This is the start of my performance here for the episode, and it is Gwendolyn Christie. I absolutely adored her here. Just the different emotions she has to go through this episode is quite crazy. And I love her when she starts to get a little drunk and cuz I don't know, we don't see Brienne
You drink
drunk.
wine, but you prefer ale. Like that whole thing. Like I love. Yes, never like that.
She's I don't know.
Yeah.
She's so different. I don't know. I thought it was incredible. So this was just super fun to see her this way, and then eventually we'll get even more emotions with her. So, but yeah, this is. I thought this is the only not the only performance that stood out, but at least one that kept reoccurring. I'm like, oh man, wow, you are having to do a lot kind of this episode. So.
No, I like that. I love that pick. I love Gwendolyn Christie, and I'm glad she's getting one before the end of the show comes around because she is very, very good.
Is that
and
actually her first?
No, I don't believe it's her first, but I'm glad she's getting one more.
Okay,
I think she's gotten one before.
Puts her at 3. Actually, she's gotten 2.
Okay.
So
we might have picked her on a mutual. We
think that's
both
right.
agreed.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that was the character whenever she was. Well, was that very recently? Whenever she was announced, Sir A knight, Brienne
maybe
of
it was.
Tarth. Let's see, Sir Brienne of Tarth I had, and you had Jorah for that episode. But you gave you gave Gwendolyn Christie the performance. I gave her the character for that episode. So I guess
Okay.
there's another performance from somewhere else.
Oh, okay. So it was not a mutual one. It was just we've both had a great deal of love for Brienne over the course of this. But yeah, it's a great light to paint her in this, like, actually having fun. Jamie being like, if tonight's not the night you drink, I don't know when you're gonna fucking do it. Like, this is the time to fucking party, you know.
Yep.
But a drunken Tormund laughs and drinks all the while, praising Jon and going over their history. He made friends with an enemy, got himself murdered for it. Most people, when they get murdered, they stay that way, but not this one.
What a hype man.
Tormund's my character, bro. I fucking loved him this week, bro. Like, him being like, he got himself murdered for it. Most people, you murder them, they stay that way.
And like,
him being
is this
like,
where he's spilling the wine kind of the
he's
whole time
sloshing
too?
the fucking drink around.
Oh,
because he
man.
goes, he fought north of the wall. He fought here. He fought back north of the wall, and then he fought here again. He just keeps fighting. He
Mhm.
keeps fighting. And
Man.
he.
The whole time,
I love it. And
Danny being like,
yeah,
and yeah, I don't know. I thought it is
with good reason,
because this is love. Like, this is love. She's right,
and it's love for the exact same shit she does.
Like,
so
Missandei,
he says,
like, I don't know.
He climbed on the back of a fucking dragon and fought. What kind of a person climbs on a fucking dragon? A madman or a king?
Yeah, there's another one right over there. Actually, there's another person in that room that has done it before him and that birthed those 3 dragons.
But a good little bit of foreshadowing there. A madman or a king?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
A little bit of
Tormund. A little foresight in
Tormund.
him. Yes, he's got a little he knew
And I
what was coming. Maybe.
He knew what was going on.
But
And I appreciate Jon's keenness here to, like, be like, that probably didn't sit well with Danny. So he kind of, like, turns back around and is like, hi, babe.
And
You
Varys
like,
is looking at her the whole time like Varys is watching the nuclear time tick down. Like, he's like, it is almost midnight, man. Like, this is
that shot where it starts on Danny's face and then it pans over and the focus shifts to Varys.
He's
brilliant. I loved it.
Scared, like fear is being built even amongst her advisors, like amongst Varys and Tyrion. They're like, oh fuck, like, this is not good. Like, Daenerys stands up, Varys instantly. He's like, "Yup, I am going with you. Like, you are, like, you can't be alone right now. It's like, this is I don't know. It is the deep end. Like, it's we've already said that it's like it makes sense completely. Like, off this watch, it's like it's already just happened, kind of. Like, it's just happening very slowly over time. But
and what will be my line for the episode later on? Her choice is already made, even before Missandei's dead.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right. I don't know. My line's way less important, but way funnier. I don't think we're quite there yet, actually, but almost.
No, we're about to be. Okay. It's not far off. But yeah, Daenerys looks around the room. She notices Tyrion drinking with Brienne, Pod, and Jamie. All happy, loving together. She looks at Jon, Tormund, Davos, and some wildlings having fun, loving together. And she's sitting in isolation quietly in the corner. It's like that meme with, like, the one dude standing in the corner at the party, everybody's dancing, but, like, what she's saying is that they don't know that I'm about to burn down an entire city. Like, that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, it's not just like they don't know that I'm I don't know.
They don't know that I long for their love.
Like, yeah, actually, like, yeah, they don't know what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah, it is very scary. Yeah, very like, and that's, I don't know. I was keen in on Varys this episode very
Mm.
specifically. Like, I really loved that shot of him starting to worry, and everything, and him noticing these signs way before, and he's like, all right, the game is up. He's like, this, like, I
This
don't
shit
like.
ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I guess I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but like, there are some things that I actually do really really like the like decisions they made and stuff,
Mm.
about this episode. So we're not like fully off the deep end of bad, yet. This there's still a lot of things to like, about the show.
No, it's
But
again, it's just the pace, and especially at the beginning here in Winterfell, we're not dealing with a lot of bad stuff. Like, there's a few
mhm.
interactions that I don't like. There's one interaction that I don't like, but like beyond that, it's pretty fucking solid. Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, and Pod continue their drinking game, and Brienne correctly guesses that Tyrion was married to someone else before his forced marriage to Sansa. And she takes another guess that Tyrion is drinking wine, but he prefers ale. And Tyrion goes, "No!" And it's a lot of fun. And she
Uh,
takes another drink, and like he's looking, thinking what he's gonna say next. Brienne is all smiley, and then she glances over at Jaime and looks back at Tyrion, and Tyrion's like, I like the way he like locks in. He's like, "You're a
you
virgin."
like, that's a statement. Nope. Or like Jamie's like,
And I
no,
like
against
I
the
like the way
rules.
Jaime tries to
Um,
hold it down a little bit, like he
mhm.
knows that's not
Yeah, like, oh damn, this is
like,
not
come
a
on
game
now, bro.
anymore. Yeah,
Like,
he's like, damn, yeah, we went a little too real here with Brienne, but
and I love the way Pod goes,
ooh, yeah,
yeah, the Pod turns to the side, takes a sip. But
ah,
Jamie's like, so that's the statement. He goes, at no point in the past have you ever slept with a man or a woman.
or a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care, either way.
Hmm.
Um, and Brienne doesn't answer, gets up and says she must relieve herself. And Tormund drunkenly propositions Brienne, who he is quite taken with. He respects a warrior woman, but is rebuffed by her. And as she gets up to go away, he attempts to follow, but Jaime stops him and pats him on the chest and follows Brienne. Tormund watches that with like pain in his eyes, and Tyrion comes over and pours the rest of his wine and Tormund's horn and is like, "Go ahead, buddy." And then we smash
Ah,
cut to Tormund sobbing, trying to commiserate to the Hound
no.
of all
Yes.
people,
Oh
which I
yeah.
think is hysterical.
The
That like,
worst absolute person to go to. I think it's just the only guy that was alone. So it's like, oh, I
yeah,
gotta tell this to somebody. Oh, fuck it, the Hound, you're right here. Let me tell you.
dude.
But no, the
And I loved this interaction too. It also implies to me, to a degree, there's been a lot of stuff that they haven't expressly told us, but the Hound has in passing mentioned stuff about wildlings and about their culture and how they do things, and like it implies to me that Tormund and the Hound have spent a decent amount of time together
hmm,
since they went beyond the wall. So I thought it was funny that
yeah.
Tormund felt like if there was anybody he was gonna go and like pour his heart out to, it was the fucking Hound,
Wow.
which is
The
which
Hound,
is
I
very
guess, is
fucking funny.
kind of the closest to a wildling that there
Yeah,
is of people who are south of the wall. But yeah, no, I love that is where the Tormund line does come. And right when I heard it, I mean, it was just clear. I was like, there's no other line of the episode that's gonna top this one. And he says, now which one of you cowards shit in my pants?" And also trying to swoon Brienne in this moment, and this is where he goes at the end. I think it's just hilarious.
I'm
Um,
pretty sure it's his opening.
I thought it's the
I'm pretty
closer. I thought he's kind of going off on a little bit, and then he's like, "All
Oh
right,
yeah, he's like,
now." He's like,
"We
"Oh,
did it.
yeah."
We lived. We fought and we won.
He's like, "All right,
Now
now."
which one of you cowards shit in my pants?"
Yeah.
Like it's pretty
I'm
incredible.
pretty certain this I have been asked this question. There was a point in college where a dude actually shit his pants because he was so drunk, and he can't, like, he was like, yeah, I think he knew, like, he fully knew what he
Yeah.
did, but he was going around acting like it was a funny thing.
Somebody else who's shit in
Um,
his pants.
yeah, but no, it's incredible. I love they're just getting down to it. You know,
Which
it's
one of you cowards shit in my pants?
love that man Tormund. Yeah, had to give him a
Yep.
nod somewhere because he did lighten the episode
Has
a
he
whole
ever
lot.
gotten a character nod? That's who I went with. So I'm
Ooh,
like, I think he's gotten one, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a first time for Tormund.
I don't see any Tormund at all in the stat sheet. So his
Got him in under the wire, baby.
wow.
Love that. Love that. Okay, I'll take it. I will take it.
Tormund Giantsbane. Um, is that it? Is there? I feel like he has another. Is that it? Just Tormund Giantsbane.
Pretty sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why I felt like there was kind of another name he had.
He had like a nickname when he was introduced, but I don't remember what it was.
But okay, yeah. The last editions we have, like a lot of just really cool ones. Tormund, then it went Melisandre, Gendry, Grey Worm. So like I'm glad all these people are kind of getting nods in at the very end here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I clicked into it. Doesn't look like he had another nickname.
Hmm.
Trying
Just
to
yeah, maybe it was just Giantsbane.
must
Um,
be. Must be.
but I thought
But
maybe like before he sucked the giant's milk, and
yeah,
became a
he
giant, he
had to
was
have had another
I don't
name,
know.
yeah.
Um,
But anywho, um, let's see. Gotta scroll back down to where I was.
mm,
Okay, there we go. Tormund's woe is quickly cleared whenever one of the northern serving girls goes, "How about I'm not afraid of you." Um, and he kind of like the way he like peeks around Tormund
mm,
or peeks around the house, like,
mm.
okay.
Really? Really? Are you sure? Yeah, maybe you should be. Or he says something kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
something
I'm
like
not
that.
afraid of the
Uh,
I'm not afraid of the free folk.
mm-hmm.
Maybe you should be.
But
And then he
man,
gets up, puts his arm around her, and is like, "All right, Sandor, tonight we drown our sorrows. Let's fucking do it, buddy."
let's go,
Um,
dude. Nope. I'm still drinking, man. I got.
I gotta finish my drink.
Mm-hmm. And man, look who's hooking him up though. Look who's
Sansa.
in the
Yeah.
background sending these two. Like, whoa, okay. Like she understands what these dudes want. She fully knows and how to read people. So I don't know. I thought this was kind of cool. Like Sansa's arc. She's
You could argue this was an exceptionally bad read.
like, from the Hound, like that. The Hound.
Yeah.
I guess Tormund,
The Hound
good read.
Tormund was like, "Fuck yeah,"
Yeah.
like,
Good read. Yeah. Yeah, the Hound. Yeah, I don't. Maybe she was just like, we'll see. If
we'll
he
take a
takes
shot in
it.
the dark.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like,
like,
let's see if he takes it.
he's
But
earned it,
yeah.
Like, I love that she's, like, on her little finger shit,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
she was like, "Go ahead, see about it." Like, I love whenever he, like, initially denies her, the serving girl, like, looks across the room at her like, "I don't know what to do," and she's like,
Oh, I guess they do. I was gonna say, like, do they have brothels at Winterfell? Like, is that like a thing
"Yeah,
that they do? And I'm like,
yeah."
yeah. Whenever they came in in season one, they were
The first
Tyrion
episode,
was with three
yeah,
women at one
at
time. So
least.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's where Roz came from initially, if you remember Roz.
Oh shit!
Um, yeah,
No
she came from a
fucking
northern
way.
brothel. She was in the first episode of the first season because she was with Tyrion. So like,
Hell yeah. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
Roz,
Um,
we miss you. You didn't deserve to go out the way you did. Um,
mm-mm.
but she goes ahead and sits down with the Hound all this, after all the air clears a bit, and the last time they spoke was at the Battle of the Blackwater, where he offered to try to sneak her out of the city as he abandoned his post, but she felt it was too risky and declined. And he says he heard she was taken by Littlefinger. And after that, Sandor comments that she was, quote, broken in rough, unquote, marrying Ramsay Bolton, who raped and imprisoned her. And I was like, man, I don't know. I felt like this was
Ah.
an inconsistent character beat for the
Uh-huh.
Hound.
Yeah. Almost could have been
Never
a
been.
banger of a scene here. Like, yeah, I don't
Well, it
like.
could have been.
I really when they sat down, I'm like, ooh, I think I might be getting into one of my favorite scenes here. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, just the word choice and dialogue was a little interesting here.
Rough, and, like, it's, the general sentiment, it kind of encapsulates I told you this off mic, like, this interaction encapsulates the entire episode. It seems well-intentioned,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like they meant to do the right things, and they just executed it fucking terribly, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And they're not at a point in their like if it was Arya and the Hound, I could see this maybe working a little bit more just because they have so much more like history between them. But even still, like it doesn't like
no, I
it's
mean,
not
like,
it's not
they've
the
been
I don't know. It's just it was
no
a little disappointing to see from the Hound because he's always been so good. Like his arc has been incredible. Um,
well, and that's the thing for me is that they've clearly shown an evolution to a certain point where he's not soft, he's not sensitive, but he's emotionally intelligent.
mhm.
He knows he knows what the right and wrong thing to say is. So, like, and the fact that he has literally saved her in the past from being sexually assaulted.
Yeah, like man, like yeah, this I don't know
It
was
was an oversight by the writers, and then, the stuff that D&D write for Sansa doesn't work for me either, where, Sansa says that without Littlefinger and Ramsay and the rest, she'd have stayed a little bird her whole life. But the abuse she suffered made her strong. Um,
I mean, good outlook, I guess, like good
what
way to
doesn't
look
kill
at
you
it,
makes
but
you stronger.
maybe not the only
Yeah,
thing.
but
Uh, maybe
uh,
it's like
uh,
you don't if you didn't have that, I don't know. Yeah, sure, your
you'd have
life would be a
grown
little
up.
more innocent, but like, yeah, you would have grown up normally. Yeah, like, and probably
Yeah,
how
you'd
you
have
would
lived.
have preferred. I think it's more of just accepting that it's done, not not letting it not harping on it, just kind of being like, "Yep, it happened. I'm where I'm at
Well, and
now."
that's the thing is that
Just but
again, the intention of the scene, I get it.
it's just not laid out that way. Like you don't,
No,
yeah,
no.
you don't get it right
We're
away.
we're we're justifying it, in a way that it is not written that way, like, I get
Mhm.
that it is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and literally, if she just says without Littlefinger and Cersei and the rest, you know? Maybe if she doesn't like, she names Ramsay, without Littlefinger and Ramsay and the rest, like,
Mm-mm.
but it's just like, yes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but the idea that she had to be abused and assaulted to become the person she's become, I don't love it, and I don't think it's a great sentiment,
Mm-mm.
so
Yeah.
it's
It should have been more of s- I didn't have to go through this, but I did, and look where I am now instead
yeah,
of um
instead like,
because I went through this, I
yeah,
am
look
here
where I
now.
am now,
Um
and it certainly hardened her in a way she wouldn't have been hardened. I think that's fair to say, but I don't think that's for the best, like, I don't
yeah.
think that's, like, it's that's so it's a complicated line to toe, and they tried to approach it, and maybe they just shouldn't have. Um,
Mhm.
like, so ultimately, I think that we're dealing with one of those things where when it came to House of the Dragon, there were a few things that were handled in a way that could have been really bad, but because they were directed or written by women, it paid off in a way that felt more meaningful. The fact that this scene is written and directed by a man just makes it even more icky. It's like, okay, I don't know what you're getting at here, bro.
Yeah, we're in the feel good moment after the worst night of all time. Like this is supposed to be all good. Like just happy. And
mm. It ends on a high note. I liked the how'd you have him executed? And
mm,
she says with a little bit of a smirk, hounds.
mm,
And the hound obviously giggles quite a bit at that. He's like, "Ha ha, yeah, all right, fuck yeah." I dig it.
That was nice. Yeah, that
That
was
was a
nice.
nice little moment. Oh, there it goes again.
I don't have it's
The camera giving us issues.
Oh,
It happens.
sorry. The mother.
The mother. Mother's mercy. There's no love like the mother's. But we will then continue to after the feast at Winterfell, wherein slipping out of the hall, Gendry finds Arya practicing archery alone in the stables, nearly taking his head off. It would have been extremely funny if she just snipes this guy's fucking head and that's it. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Button. Thank you. I would not have
Mm.
not have realized that, but yeah, that she likes to just almost kill people a lot, just to prove that she has this ability, you know.
She's like, I
And
could fuck with you. I could do it.
like
Well, and that's the thing is like, this is one of those situations where I think Gendry genuinely just got lucky. Like, she fired that fucking arrow before he came around the corner, you know? Like,
yeah, I guess the new Lord of Storm's End could have been vacant again. Like that seat could have been vacant very quickly again.
yeah,
Um,
would have
but
been kind of funny. But he walks up to her and is like, "Come on, we're celebrating." And she's like, "I am celebrating." Um, and he's like, "Okay, I'm not a bastard anymore. I'm Gendry Baratheon, and I'm the Lord of Storm's End." And she's like, "Oh shit, dude, that's awesome! I'm so fucking happy for you. That rules." And he's like, "I don't fucking know how to do it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know how to use a fork. All I know is that I need you by my side. Please, fucking marry me. Please, be the Lady of Storm's End." And Arya's like, "Oh no, sorry, bud. You'll be a great lord. But I'm not a lady. I'll
mhm.
never be a lady. That's not
Oh,
me." Um,
you know, as far as all the heartbreaks that happened this episode, this one is like I don't know, like this needed to have this one. It wouldn't have been good if like they
no,
actually ran off together.
God,
Like yeah,
no.
that would have
I'm so
sucked.
glad that they had
Um,
enough head on their shoulders to know that they were like, they can't have Arya end up with Gendry.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's just what adults do. They had their thing. You know, maybe they could have a relationship still, but not just not in the way of the traditional
not the way Gendry wants
Westerosi.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like interesting that Gendry didn't realize that, you know, that
I
like
think it's a really good sign that he shouldn't have been proposing to her.
I don't like it's just he knows that she's not like that. You know, I guess he
Yeah.
just really is moved by like he's just like
He's hype, you
yeah,
know, like he's riding a
he's
fucking
off
high.
like he
Well, what's even funnier is that he was already looking for her prior to being declared the Lord's End. Was he going to ask her this anyway?
probably yes.
You know?
No, dude, yes. After they fucked, it's over because she kind of seeked him out. She was like, "Hey, I'm not going to die a virgin, and you are hot. I am hot. Let's do the thing." And I
Just
think
do it.
you know, Gendry was a little more. That's all he could think about after the battle was over. That's just
Yeah.
it. That's what he went back
And
to.
who can blame him? You know, you're riding high, you know, like the Hound says, they're dead, you're not. Like, you wanna live. You wanna live, and if that's the
Mm-hmm.
person you feel like you can live with, you know, so I don't blame it as I don't think it's like, "Oh, he doesn't know Arya well enough to be proposing or anything," like, I would make that argument, but
I
it's
mean,
obviously coming from a place of
like
just deep.
he should know her well enough that he should know that this is not what she wants. Not that like that he's
He
not
should know it's a shot in the dark.
yeah, like this is obviously not what Arya wants. Like you're
Yeah,
asking her to
like, you
change
can
her
take
way of life completely. Like in
the shot, but you gotta know this isn't gonna go your way, you know? You
Mhm.
can be like, "How about it?" And when she's like, "No,"
Yeah.
you can be like, "Okay, I thought so, but, you know, I'd be a fool to not
Man,
try.
Tormund, wow, Tormund gets shut down, and then we see him cry to the Hound. Gendry, not shut down, but I mean, in his eyes, I guess, he didn't get what he wanted, but then he starts to cry a little bit. Let's see, does anyone else get shut down?
Brienne.
Yes, that one's actually just very tragic. That one actually hurts a lot to watch. Podrick, though, whoever that northern lady was in for quite the night. She had no idea, or maybe she
She
did.
didn't know.
Maybe
She'd
did.
heard.
Maybe it's like
Maybe Pod is the thing of legend, like
yeah, who cares about the war? If you're just like a normal citizen, like the war is just whatever. You can't do anything about it. You got to hear about the other legends of Westeros.
You hear the gossip.
The Godrod Pod. It has to be going around. Like for sure. Like, and that's anyone's just.
Did you hear that the whores at King's Landing returned his gold after they had sex?
Rumor has it he's traveling with Brienne of Tarth, so it's easy to find him. If you find Brienne, that's Podrick. Like, he's the squire of Brienne. So if you like, I feel like it's possible. Like, I feel like that's like the reality TV of Game of Thrones. They don't have TV, so that's what they got to work with.
They got gossip. Like they gotta have gossip. But yeah, no, pretty incredible that and that was like, I loved, there were a few just like small transitions that I really loved, and that was one of them. Whenever Pod like turns around and sees the girl and he just kind of smiles, and then they cut to another scene. There was one where in between scenes, literally, they show the Hound grab the giant fucking flagon of wine. Like, they cut from a scene where people talked. They show the Hound grab the flagon of wine and set it on the table, and they cut to another scene where people talk. So it's like a transition shot. Like, it's just like they're establishing that we're moving on to something new, and I fucking loved it. I was like, so it was really well edited. It was really well shot. It was like it's really well performed. It's just everything that the show is usually good at, besides writing, that I think that really falls flat for me. But because even some of the stuff that I do like event-wise, I don't think it's well written. Hours later, after the feast, Jaime Lannister shows up at Brienne's chamber in the castle, and he begins to undress, and so does she. And as she admits, she's never slept with anyone before. And this whole interaction, I do like it. I think it's cute. And they're both drunk. It's painting Jaime in a new light. He's not very confident. He's like, he is
hot in here, man. That's all he can say. He's like,
not being forward about it. He's like, I want to take off my clothes, and I want you to take off your clothes.
Wow, you keep it really hot in here, Brienne. It's hot. Wow, I'm gonna take off my clothes. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was.
Everyone's drunk, so it's even funnier that everyone's dealing with this sort of thing. So like, when she's like, "My God, come here," and she starts undressing him, and he's like, "Okay." Starts playing with her and playing with her dress, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Taking your clothes off."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. We're going there, but I like Brienne. Her decision here to be like, all right, you know what?
Fuck it.
Yeah, she deserves this.
She does.
Fully, but what comes after really blows. Like, that's like the only part that sucks, is that I know it's coming, and like what a switch up that kind of just like, why go down this route so far of redeeming this guy? Like, he's done so much terrible shit, but like, you actually sort of are starting to like him here. Like, it's like, wow, he is gone, and he's without Cersei, maybe he could be a good guy, and then just no, he
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. It's fine. The thing I noticed is that they don't truly try to redeem him until the end of season 7. Like, when he decides to go, when he decides finally, like, fine, I'm fucking gone.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with 3 episodes where he fought for the undoubtedly good side. So something this rewatch kind of showed to me is that the redemption arc Jaime was on wasn't as extensive as I'd previously thought, and I don't know if that's because I'd never really forgiven him for what he did in season 4.
Huh. I wonder if this is more like obviously he's going back to Cersei, and that's reason without Cersei he doesn't go back to King's Landing and leave Brienne in the first place. But
Yeah.
is it more of like, damn, I kind of like, did he realize that he's taking advantage of Brienne a little bit? Like is it in him at all that he realizes that he's not good for her and that like it is better if he leaves? You
I
know?
think that's certainly the case. I think that that's definitely a part of it. At least on the character side of things. Um, I think there's a part of him that knows he will never love Brienne the way he needs to fully.
Mm-hmm.
He'll
Yeah.
always be holding on to a part of him uh, that belongs to his twin sister, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's, but still, like, so I think that's part of it. I don't think it's the whole of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's both. Like it's he is just kind of a shitty dude as
He's a
well.
shitty and, like,
Um,
he's it's mentioned with Tyrion, earlier in the season, you've always known who she is and you loved her anyway. That was part of what he said, at the end, like, at the end of this arc, Brienne's like, "Don't go, like, you don't need to do this," and he's like, she's terrible and so am I," or something like that, like,
yeah.
he's kinda just accepting, I think, denying who he is becoming to be who he's always been, and I think it's a shit route to end the character arc on. I think it's fucking terrible. I think it's horrendous. Um, However, my other thing is that I truly do not like
Don't.
Jaime and Brienne together. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want that.
I don't think that is the happy ending. I
No.
like it. I think. Yeah.
So
I
it
don't.
sucks
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they took this step at all, you know? Um,
Like Cersei's weird. It's like you hate her, but you like her at the same time, just because she's so good at what she does. But like obviously the things that she does, I do not agree with. So I hate her
oh yeah,
as like
yeah,
ethically, morally, very
yeah.
much so. And so she's always kind of like you don't want to root for her in the show. At like the end, you would kind of like to see her fail.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
the
You want to see her die.
the one thing, I guess two, she cares about two things. One in a group, family. It's her children, one, but Jaime is kind of one as well. I don't know. It seems that Jaime kind of trumps the children sometimes, and the children trump Jaime. I don't know. It kind of goes back and
Yeah.
forth. Um, but you would think that like you deprive Cersei of the one thing she wants at her death, which is to be with Jaime. Like that's all they care about is to be together at the end. And you give them that. Like you actually give them the one thing that they like want. And it's like I think it hits way harder if you realize all the bad shit they did ended up letting them not have what they want. I don't know. Like it's
Mhm.
look at the bad shit they do. They did not get the life they wanted, and it all turned out being shit. But I guess they die, so like they are
Yeah, that's
dead.
the other side of it.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just to end the arc
Like,
this way
I
was.
here's the thing is that, like, Jamie, I don't like Jamie by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's a shit dude and like, just a terrible guy.
Mm,
So, it's fascinating to, like, he should have never gone south. That's like, he should not have gone back to King's Landing. He left, that should have been fucking it, you know? Um,
mm, yeah.
so, like, it's just, to back on that storyline, one of those things that maybe over the course of a 10-episode season or 2 separate
Mm,
seasons pays off. It might be. It might be like, you get more time showing that he will never be able to commit to Brienne the way that he could with Cersei. All you see is him commit to Brienne and then backtrack on that commitment. Like,
yeah.
literally by the end, like, by halfway through this episode, they're, like, domesticated.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I
They're,
don't
like, hanging
know.
out together, they're just, like, chilling in the fucking courtyard, like, it's like
They sleep together like every night
yeah.
now. Like they're just yeah,
So,
and
I'm like, it's the fact that we literally go from them not being together to them being fully blown together to him being like, "I can't do this, I'm leaving." Like, it's just that might be the storyline that suffers the most from the pacing because it literally all happens in this episode.
yeah, it's very fast, very, very, very fast, and
The
it
only other episode you could argue it even begins to happen in is episode 2, and that's even that
it's very slight. Just looks at like each other and like, hey, will you fight for me? Yeah, I'll fight. Or I'll think about it. And it's like it's kind
and
of
they're
like the yeah.
warriors, they fight together. That is like they've come a long way. They
Mm-hmm.
here they are now. I wanna fight beside you. You are who I wanna fight beside. You've protected me, I've protected you. Like, there's
Yeah.
clearly a love there, but to take it to the level they do, if it was, like, just a one night stand,
Mm-hmm.
it then paints Jamie in a bad light because then he's with a virgin who he's decided was worth one night. Um,
Mm-hmm. That's why if you
if
look
they
at
stay
it through the lens of
together,
Brienne, it sucks
it
every
sucks no matter
time.
what.
Like every time. Yeah, and
There's no the only way it plays out good is if they stay together, and I wouldn't like that, like, that's, so it's a bizarre situation. So, anywho, just a massive fumble of a storyline in season 8 is, ooh, did my microphone disconnect by any chance, or am I good?
you're good.
I
Yeah.
I hit my table and it
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah, gotta be careful with mine, my
yeah, yeah,
camera and all, but
but,
anyway.
yeah, anywho, we move on to the next, attempt at a sexual encounter where Daenerys Targaryen arrives at Jon Snow's bedchambers, where he's basically like, "I'm so sorry, so sorry for everything that's happened, I'm sorry about Jorah, but if he could have chosen a way to die, he would have chosen to die the way he did." Um, and she observes that Jorah did love her, but not the way that she loves Jon. She wasn't capable of it. And I love that even before she like kind of when she walks in, she's like, "Are you drunk?" And he like stands up and stumbles. He's like, "No." Okay, maybe a little. It's a
Yeah.
funny little moment. Um,
This
but the two of them, what's up?
you know, like, she's testing him a little bit. She's like, "Okay, let's see how how he feels about us, about everything right now. Let's just see." But, like, a big part of the equation that I think is just lost is, like, this isn't a time like for their affection. Like she's crying. She is like in a state of like emotional distress and she's trying to like I don't she's drunk and pissed and like just I don't know. It's not like they had like a fun game that they played right before and they were talking sexual things and like it was going down that route and they had this little playful let's take off each other's shirt. No, it's like, hey, we're talking about heavy things. We're also talking about maybe you taking the throne away from me. Let me kiss you real quick to see if you love me. And then it's like, sorry that there's like more things going on right now, and I can't
Mm.
commit to this kiss. And that also you're my aunt. And it's yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's rough.
um,
It's rough. She pulls him in after uh, he did love me, but not the way that I love you. They proceed to kiss passionately and are on their way to undressing each other, but John stops himself, and John walks away, faces the corner, and Daenerys laments, "I wish you never told me. If I didn't know, I'd be happy right now. I tried to forget, and tonight, for a while, I did. And then I saw them gathered around you. I saw the way they looked at you. I know that look. So many people have looked at me that way, but never here,
mm,
never on this side of the sea."
mm-hmm.
And John replies, "I don't want it. I
Don't
never want
want
it.
it. You will always be my queen. My
Will always be
queen.
my queen."
My queen. What else can I say? You know,
What else? I don't know what else I can say.
I've said it
Uh,
so many times before. He's like, he is a man of honor, and people just, I don't know. I guess they just forget that
Daenerys, she argues,
she has a
he
valid
didn't want to
point.
be king in the
Yeah,
north.
she has a very valid point. You didn't want to be Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. You didn't want to be King of the North. You didn't want to be Aegon Targaryen. Sorry, it's just
Kind of who you
kinda,
are.
yeah. You're just kind of how it happens. Doesn't matter if that's what you want. It is the people around you. It is the Stilgar. Like who's like John Stilgar? Maybe Tormund, a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Like this
Madman.
guy
Our
dies.
king.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah. I think Tormund's kind of the Stilgar
Yeah.
of this universe,
Believes
but
in him.
yeah, it's not him. It's not really coming from John, but he doesn't want it. But you think like deep down, he says he doesn't want it, but like deep down, that he knows that since that he is leading, the things that he thinks are right actually are happening, sort of thing. So it's like I think he finds like some solace in it, like deep down. He's like, if it has to be someone, at least
I mean, like, I think that that's fair. I think we're talking deep down,
hmm
though.
he never shows any of that, like, whatsoever in the show.
No, I mean, like, it's.
But
I think the Army of the Dead has been dealt with. He's fucking done.
you know,
That is the only thing he's been concerned about. He was handed leadership and he was like, fine, I'm going to use this to defeat the army of the dead.
mm,
That is what his goal was, So, like, now that that's fulfilled, and now that, and previously, maybe there was a possibility he could have been the king consort. I think he could have been okay with being an
yeah,
advisor to Daenerys. Like, okay, maybe this is something that can happen. But then he's told she's his fucking aunt.
out the
So now
window.
he's like,
Yeah.
truly, I don't want any of it. I'm fucking done. So
hmm
I think that there is a certain solace to be taken in that if the worst comes to worse, at least it'll be me,
Oh, I
but
guess I
God, he
wasn't
would
meaning
try
like the
anything.
Iron Throne. I mean just like all the stuff he's done so far. Like not that eventually he'll be the one taking the seat, but just like as far the things he's done as a leader so far. He says he's hated all of it, but like I think there is a little bit of like at
Oh,
least
there's a little pride to take in what's been done,
mhm, yeah.
but I think you could say that for any leader, like,
Yeah.
any great achievements. I mean, he's had to do bad shit,
Yeah.
He's had to kill people. He's had to I mean, he's been in, like, 3 fucking battles since he took office, you know?
Big ones too. Like
Yeah,
like
and I
huge
think 3
ones.
is underselling it. He was commander when wasn't he Lord Commander at the time that he went to Hardhome? So,
Or they
like,
were maybe voting, or like he just became maybe Lord Commander. Yeah, I think yeah, no,
yeah, he'd become Lord Commander earlier that season because he's
mhm.
killed 2 episodes later.
Hardhome
Um,
definitely battle there, but like also Craster's Keep, like that is it's not a battle, but like having to just do that, go north of the
Mhm.
wall, take care of all that, come back.
He has
Um,
died.
yeah, he got stabbed. We don't know how many times exactly, but a
Yeah.
lot in the heart, and died. Yeah, Tormund's right. Yeah, Tormund's right. This dude's
Bro,
just
he's done.
he's
He's
different.
done.
Yeah. Um,
Um, but, she says, "What are you gonna do then?" And he says, "I'll refuse. You are my queen. I don't know what else I can say." And Daenerys tells him he can say nothing. Never tell anyone who he really is. I she wants it to be the way that it was. And John clasps her hand in his and says, I gotta tell Sansa and Arya. They are my family. And Daenerys is like, nope, you can't. Sansa will press your claim and will try to get you on the Iron Throne. It's a guarantee. And John says Sansa won't do that, but Daenerys warns him she's not the same girl you knew. And she's absolutely right. Sansa will do this. Sansa will
100%.
press for John to be king.
Yeah.
And John believes he owes Sansa and Arya the truth, but Daenerys begs him not to tell, saying the truth will destroy them, and John insists it won't. You are my queen. Nothing will change that, and they are my family. We can live together. And Daenerys tells him, we can. I just
Just
told you
told you
how.
how. Yeah, that was ooh. Yeah, She's leading with fear, and this is the thing right here. Like, I think this is the snap. She fully realizes, the night was already bad. She's drunk, but then hearing it from Jon, kind of himself, of not agreeing with her immediately, of not being like, okay, no, this will be a secret. I will be, you're the queen. I'll be an advisor. We can marry, whatever. It's gonna be all good. No, she's like, I see where this is going. It's inevitable. Jon, you're too fucking goated, in this area. You're just the guy, and I
People
can't.
fucking follow you, man.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it is.
They're
And
drawn to him.
she would have just stayed in Essos, man. That's what like I kept coming back to, is she just would have stayed on over there, ruled for a little bit. Maybe Jon does take up the Iron Throne. He breaks the wheel himself, and then they marry. Essos and Westeros come together for the first time ever. But instead, we get a little bit different of a story. The wheel was
much more
broken,
tragic.
but maybe not in the way we thought it would be broken.
I mean, here's the thing. The tension and drama that they created in the final season in terms of like scale and impact, if it was a happy ending, it would have felt bad.
Yeah, I guess you can't really.
It'd have been like
something's got to
it'd have been
happen. Like some, it was gonna be war, and war's
Mhm.
never. There's never a happy ending, even with anything war. Yeah, I guess there could have been. I don't know. It is such a complicated ending that when you even start to come up with like, oh, here's how I would have done it, and then you're like, you have to think of so many other factors that.
Like that's why I mean, like they had a difficult fucking job.
Yeah.
It's just they had 6 episodes to do it, which was fucking impossible. That was not going to happen. So we get what we get. But the next day, Daenerys, Jon, and their remaining leaders hold a war council around a large map of Westeros. Apart from the destruction of most of the Dothraki, Grey Worm says that about half the Unsullied were killed in the battle. Jon says that about half the Northern and Vale armies were destroyed as well. And I like the neatness of that. They're just like, how about half of them?
Fuck it. Yeah.
Half our forces are gone.
Yeah, just taking the pucks off, and they're gone. Like I love Grey Worm just kind of being like, yes, half are gone, and it's just kind of like sad. It's also like, oh damn, that was like put very bluntly, but also like shit, like holy fuck, we lost half of our army. Yeah,
they lost a lot. But Varys begins to update them on the situation in the south using map markers. The Golden Company has just arrived in King's Landing, delivered by Euron Greyjoy's fleet, reinforcing Cersei's position. And Daenerys says they must attack King's Landing and rip Cersei out root and stem. And Tyrion warns her that a direct assault on King's Landing would result in so many civilian casualties that it would make the small folk hate her. And they must once again try to encircle Cersei, starving out the city until the commoners revolt against her, as they did against Joffrey not too long ago. And Varys points out that Daenerys is gaining allies in other places as well. The new Prince of Dorne is formally declared, and for her and against Cersei. And while they have received news that Yara Greyjoy has successfully retaken the Iron Islands themselves, while her uncle Euron's fleet has been away in the east. And Daenerys insists that they must attack Cersei now, as the only reason she is considered a queen at all is because she physically controls the greatest symbol of power, the Iron Throne itself. They must take the capital city in order to defeat Cersei, as without it, she is nothing. And Sansa counters that they are not in a strong position to immediately mount a full-scale offensive. The men have been left exhausted, many of them are wounded. They'll fight better if they have time to rest and recuperate. And she's like, and it just so happens half of them died, so now I can feed everybody.
Oh, yeah. I guess one problem got solved.
Yeah, there. Like if we need to take our time, which we can't because there's 6 episodes, we can, like, and it sucks that some decisions in the show are made because we don't have a lot of runtime left. Like,
yeah, it is a tough back because they do have to end, like they have to get to an end, but why? Like, what was the thought process of let's speed it up? Like, why? That's what made the show
Everyone was
so
done.
good. Like, that's
Everyone was done.
I
It's so funny. Nobody wanted like
I get
it seemed
yeah.
and
It's just to make 4 more episodes. I
it's
guess
probably not that much.
yeah, I
But
don't know.
regardless,
Yeah. Uh,
I mean, budgetary probably. The 6-episode season was the most expensive season of the show.
okay, damn. Yeah, that's
And other seasons had fucking 10 episodes, and it was the most expensive season of the show. So like it's a lot of money, but regardless, you know, uh
hmm.
Daenerys tells her, well, asks her how much time, and Sansa says she'd need to talk to the officers first. And Dany tells her, I came north to fight alongside you at great cost to my armies and myself. Now that the time has come to reciprocate, you want to postpone. But Sansa pointedly reminds Daenerys that this is the same for both the Northman armies and her armies. I'm not just trying to protect myself, I'm trying to protect your people too. They can't be riding very great after that at all. And Daenerys tells Sansa that the longer she waits, the more time Cersei has to gather new strength and new allies, just as she recruited Euron and the Golden Company. And Jon interjects that the North will honor its allegiance to Queen Daenerys, whom he has bent the knee to, and they will just have to leave the badly wounded back home and march south with a smaller army. And at this, Sansa and Arya exchange a look. It is decided that Jon and Davos will lead all of the surviving Northmen and Vale forces and the bulk of the surviving Dothraki and Unsullied forces south down the King's Road, while a smaller force of Unsullied return via ship from White Harbor to Dragonstone, uh, along with Daenerys and her 2 remaining dragons. From Dragonstone, just across Blackwater Bay from King's Landing, Daenerys can blockade Cersei by sea and ultimately stage a final attack. And Brienne of Tarth wishes to stay at Winterfell to defend the Stark sisters, and Jaime Lannister will stay with her as well. And
yeah.
Daenerys declares to the War Council that this will be the last war they have to fight in the Seven Kingdoms, adding all of them. It will end all of the wars. And
Kind of
Daenerys and Sansa exchange a tense
a
look.
bar a little bit
Oh
of
yeah,
like we
oh yeah,
fought the
for sure.
Great War, now let's fight the last war. That's pretty confident, you're like I guess like that is her whole thing. She is breaking the wheel,
Mhm.
but putting it that way was kind of cool. I don't know. I didn't really remember like the last war that didn't stick out to me before.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a
But
great idea. And
mhm.
Daenerys and her advisors leave, but Arya's like, "Hey, Jon, can you hang back for a second?" Um, and in the Godswood, the 4 surviving Stark children gather in private. Jon is irritated with his sisters. You understand we'd all be dead if not for her. We'd be corpses marching down to King's Landing. And Sansa replies that Arya is the one who killed the Night King. But Jon reminds Sansa that Daenerys' men gave their lives to fight the undead. Sansa says she won't forget that, but this doesn't mean she wants to bend the knee to Daenerys.
Mhm.
Jon says, we already have.
Yeah. That is
And
true. Yeah, Sansa's
yeah,
she loves her independence, but it kind of yeah, we've
it's
already
already been done.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
Um,
sorry. Um, and Arya says that she respects Jon's decision. He did the right thing. And Sansa is taken aback by this, like, yo, what the fuck? I thought we were doing something here. But Arya still sees Jon for who he is. He's
yeah.
honorable. He sticks to his word. He does what he needs to.
Mhm. And she
But
was
she
like
says she doesn't.
we needed her army too. She was
Mhm.
like, yeah, without her army we were fucked. So,
We were going to lose.
yeah.
We were going to lose if it was not for her. Like, that's certain. And so like it is the way it has to be. But she says she doesn't trust Daenerys, and Jon tells Arya she doesn't know Daenerys yet. And Arya goes, I'll never know her. She's not one of us. And Jon's like, well, if you only trust the people you grew up with, you won't make many allies. And Arya says, I don't need allies, like
Mhm.
I ride with y'all, and that's it. And she stresses that they are the last of the Starks, the last of Ned Stark's children, and they must remain loyal to each other. And weighed down by the truth, Jon grimly says that he has never been a Stark, and Sansa urges Jon that he is as much Ned Stark's child as they are, while Arya lovingly insists that she is her brother, not a bastard brother or a
Uh,
half brother. She loves him completely.
I love Bran here.
It's up to you.
It's your decision. you made it your decision there, Bran. By saying it's your decision, it's
Yeah,
basically
Sansa and Arya aren't gonna let that shit go, bro.
he basically said, guess what? You'll never believe this about Jon.
Yeah.
And then just like stayed quiet. He's like, all right, Jon, it's your decision. And they're like,
They're
so
like, what's
what
that mean?
does that mean? And he's like, well,
And John's like,
okay.
swear.
Yeah.
Swear for me, okay?
Swear to me.
You gotta swear.
Yeah.
Like religiously swear. Go to the heart tree and swear before the gods. Like, do that for me, and that they will never tell anyone else the secret. And Sansa and Arya ultimately swear at a loss for words. And John's like, all right, Bran, tell them.
He's like, I did it before. I've done it one time. I'm done. Like, he's like, I'm not doing that again.
This fucking sucks.
Like,
I hate it.
Shit. He's like, just tell him in your robotic way, Bran. I don't care. Just drop the
you
bomb.
Little fucking computer over there. Let him know. But later that night, the Lannister brothers are drinking at a local inn of the winter town outside the castle, and Jaime has told Tyrion of his new relationship with Brienne. And the very drunk Tyrion says, he's happy. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that now you can finally climb for it.
Yes. That was nice. I don't know. You know how long it's been since I've been wanting to make tall jokes, or I don't know. It was nice. Just these drunk fun, man. I don't know. It is nice to get this a little bit.
And suddenly, Bronn bursts through the door, pointing Joffrey's crossbow at them. And Bronn tells them that Cersei hired to assassinate both of them. Tyrion, too drunk to care, does not take Bronn seriously, as if he was going to kill them, he would have already done it. Only for Bronn to punch him in the nose so hard he nearly breaks it. And Tyrion implies, it's, you broke my nose. He's like, no, I didn't. It's like, how would you know that? He's like, I broke enough noses. I know what it sounds like.
He says, I've been breaking noses since I was your size. Man. Like, okay. Like, gee, like, usually short jokes don't work, and like they usually fall flat, but like this is like
that's probably the best short joke of the entire show.
Bronn did it. Bronn actually and like Tyrion was he actually couldn't defend this one. He was like, fuck, man. He's like, okay, shit. Like, damn. It was but Bronn, a businessman, just the art of the deal here. He's like, yeah, Cersei's giving me one thing, but fuck, I saw those dragons, man, and she's fucked, and she can't pay up, so I'm coming to you guys, just in case. I got plan A, I got plan B. And what was Cersei planning on giving him? What was the
Storm's End?
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Storm's End, and he's. No. Power corrupts absolutely with this guy. He just never stops, or more maybe greed for Bronn. I feel like this dude just can never quite get enough.
Oh no, yeah, no, absolutely not. And Tyrion's like, "What did I tell you once? That if Cersei offered you something, or somebody offered you something, I would double it." And he's like, "What the fuck is double River Run?" It's River Run, not Storm's End. Like the seat of the Frey house.
Okay.
Twins, or the Tullys. They control both. So the Lannisters do now. But
okay.
And Tyrion's like, Highgarden, the Reach. And Jaime's like, no, fuck no cutthroat can rule Highgarden. And Bronn's like, oh, how the fuck do you think the Great House has started, bro? They were all cutthroats. Managed to see some land and castles, and all of a sudden they're fucking lords, and their grandsons call themselves that. But Tyrion assumes Bronn, he will be granted Highgarden, and he leaves, promising that if Tyrion doesn't hold up his end of the bargain, the next time Bronn will come back and shoot first, with no warning or negotiation. And after he leaves, Jaime asks if they're seriously going to give Bronn Highgarden, to which Tyrion only says he won't worry about it for now, as that assumes they will all survive the final war against Cersei. I think that's when he delivers the line, maybe Cersei will kill us and all our problems will be solved.
Yeah, we got to get there first. So let's just get there. Let's see. Does Bronn, does he actually get Highgarden at the end here?
He becomes, I believe he becomes Master of Coin.
So he's just in King's Landing, or like, does he go somewhere? I feel like he got a castle.
I mean, they don't show it.
They don't? I feel like there's... Oh, no, that was before, whenever he was
Jamie
married
comes
to
and
the
gets him.
second oldest
Yeah,
daughter, and he was
yeah.
or second youngest, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll just
He
kill the old
literally
one." And
doesn't show up again until I think the council scene. I think that's it.
yeah.
I don't even know that he's at the meeting where they decide who the king is. I think he just gets picked to be master of coin
Oh
separately.
wow. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I remember like Braun having like some shot of him walking up to his castle. But I think that was just before when he was promised that by by Cersei before or
mhm,
something. I don't know what
yeah,
castle that was, but okay. Um,
but yeah, sometime Sandor Clegane rides away from Winterfell down the King's Road, and he soon realizes he is being followed by Arya Stark, who rides up to his side on her horse. He says that he still has unfinished business in the south, and Arya only says that she does too. And Sandor says he doesn't think he'll be coming back to Winterfell, and Arya says she doesn't think she will either.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, little voice break on that too. I don't know. She was like I forgot maybe the verbiage, but she was I don't know. You could tell the Hound like I like I kind of like his storyline. I always kind of hated how he was like, "No, I'm still just gonna go kill my brother. It's whatever, revenge,
no, yeah, I
even
mean,
all
like
through my
that's what
shit."
the whole
But
thing's
it's like
been.
that's his whole life. Like, and he says, later on, he's like, "It's my whole life." But I like that Arya is a little hesitant, even though that she's like, "No, I do have unfinished business." She is breaking at it still, and I don't know if that's just Macy Williams' performance of it. Who knows? Maybe she was told to do that. I don't know, but I do love how they're kind of it like I got some hesitancy from her saying that she has unfinished business still.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I dig that. I think that that would be a good. I didn't really get that from Macy Williams, but I kind of took this scene to be very, very face value, which I appreciated. I like the idea of them going south together. It's really cute that they're one last ride sort of thing. I
Yeah,
thought that was
I guess
it's a great idea.
maybe at this point she's not fully there, like realizing that like okay, this isn't the path she wants. It really is kind of the final moment when the Hound's like, hey, you'll die if you
Yeah,
follow me, sort of thing. But I think maybe here she's still kind of putting on that front because she's like, yeah, no, I hate crowds. No, I hate being the hero. I hate all that shit. So, and that is actually her. It's not a front that she's putting on. It is actually who she is. So, but
but yeah, Sansa stands on the castle wall, still in shock from the revelation of Jon's parentage, and she gazes at Daenerys' dragons flying in the distance, where she's trying to get them back up to full health. Rhaegal's having a tough time. He's got a hole in his wing and stuff. And visibly teary-eyed, Sansa is only half aware of Tyrion as he approaches her. And still numb, Sansa asks, "Why her?" But Tyrion insists that Daenerys will be a good queen, and if not, Jon Snow will still be Warden of the North under her, which is a good arrangement for the Starks. With Jon in the capital, I love that he's like, he'll be Warden of the North, but he'll be king consort. You've seen what's going on here.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Yes.
uh,
You will have all the power, Sansa, like
you
this.
will be the true power in the North.
Mm-hmm.
I'd feel much better about the future if I left here today believing you were allies. And Sansa wonders what Tyrion is worried about as their armies are going down south and Daenerys still has her dragons. And Tyrion says Sansa doesn't have to be her friend, but she doesn't see the need to provoke Daenerys.
Hmm.
At which Sansa is like, "Oh, you're fucking scared. You're afraid of her." And Tyrion's like, "Yeah, all capable
Yes.
leaders must inspire some fear."
Mm-hmm.
You
Is
know.
that true? Is this true?
Yeah,
I think
I think at
so.
this time,
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. He's in denial about how much she's depending on fear.
Mm-hmm.
He says she needs to inspire a bit of fear. She inspires much more than a bit of fear.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
he is
the
afraid to
idea
cross
is
her, and
as
she's threatened his life like 3 fucking times.
damn. Yeah, I guess maybe that is just sort of the no, that is not just the business you get into in your Hand of the King. I don't think. I think that is just or Hand of the Queen here. I think that is just on the Queen or King
Like,
at
I
the
will take
time.
the pin. I will take the pin off you, and I'll give it to someone. Like, every time he fucks up, she's like, "If you do that again, it's the last time you fuck up."
Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Yeah, I think the idea is you lead with fear, but as little of fear as you possibly can. Like you use
Yeah.
it as sparingly as you can. And it's her sort of default
Yeah.
when things don't work. So not exactly. the route you want to go. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
not just a little fear.
a whole lot. Dragon. I mean, she has the nuclear equivalent of the world at the time. It's like she just has dragons. Two right
Mhm.
now. Eventually, well, whatever. I think this is another just fucking what the fuck. Eventually, but um, he's getting back to full health. He's eating. Look at him fly again. Look, we're doing great.
Mhm.
He's alive. He's doing good.
But
Um,
an anxious Sansa says she doesn't want Jon to go to King's Landing. The men in her family don't do well there. Um, her father, grandfather, and uncle were all killed in
that's
the
true.
capital.
This is
Um,
fair. Good point, Sansa.
yeah,
Um,
so Tyrion weakly says, he believes in her. But with a pained look, Sansa then asks him what he'd say if there was someone else, someone better. And in the castle courtyard, Jon Snow is getting ready to leave south with the army while Tormund and Samwell Tarly come to say goodbye. And Tormund says that he is also leaving, returning north with his people. We're gonna go to Castle Black and beyond. We
mm,
don't like you Southern folk. And the ladies don't like me down here either. Um,
yeah.
and Jon says, the free folk are welcome in the north, but Tormund says that the lands north of the wall are their home. And
Mm-hmm.
when Jon says this is farewell, Tormund says, "You never know. You've got the north in you, the real north."
What?
Um,
Gotta feel good. That's gotta feel good.
that's a
Um,
cosign. That's a hard cosign from a true wildling. Um,
yup.
you know, uh,
That's
and the hug is so intimate. I swear,
the wrap around,
he's
like,
cupping his
yeah.
neck,
Uh-huh.
bro.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
When Jon agrees to go north, he's agreeing to take a walk on the wild side. You know, um,
Yes. Dude, he's like, man, my life is
fuck it.
over. Yeah. I gotta see what life's about. No,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe that is the
maybe.
head canon. Yeah, that is the
But
spinoff
no,
we'll
this was
get.
another reason that Tormund's absolutely my favorite character of the episode. I loved this interaction, and I was half tempted to go with I think it's Christoph Hivju is
Hmm.
the actor who plays
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Tormund because he does really good in all the scenes he's in. Like his comedic timing is incredible. What he
Mm.
does in this scene is really like it's really weighty. It's meaningful. I dug it, but yeah, John's direwolf ghost is also present, and he was badly wounded in the battle, having
Duh.
lost his right ear, but managed to survive and is up and about. And John tells Tormund to take Ghost with him. A direwolf has no place in the southern kingdoms and would be happier in the northern forests where other direwolves still live. And Gilly then says goodbye to John with a hug, and he realizes that she is pregnant again, now with Samwell's child. And she says that if it's a boy, we want to name him John.
I hope it's
And
a girl.
yeah,
Oh, come on, John. Can you like one time just be, it's just the most of course he's going to say that, of course. Um but no, this another cute moment, here.
oh, I love
This
it.
one
I
this
love
one
Uncle
was good.
John. I love when John enters Uncle John mode when he's like whenever he actually like they don't show
Mm,
him and Gilly bond by any
mm-mm.
stretch of the imagination, but earlier this season whenever Sam was about to tell him that he's a Targaryen, he was like he was like clearly fucked up and John was like is Gilly okay? Is
That's
little
right,
Sam all
yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
it's he clearly cares about them a great deal. So I loved this little interaction.
Mm.
Um and Sam and John share along and tell them they were the best friends each other ever had. And
Oh,
John then rides the castle as Tormund, Ghost, Sam, and Gilly look on. Um,
North Gang right there. That's like the Northern Gang. Man, yeah, that's
it's a
uh,
squad right there.
uh a good yeah, that's the thing. This it has good moments. Like there are good
Oh yeah,
good
absolutely.
moments, and this was one
And
of
then
them.
we get a particularly good moment here. Whereas Daenerys's fleet sails south, Tyrion meets with Varys in a chamber below decks, having just repeated what Sansa told him. And Jon Snow is really the secret legitimate son of Daenerys' older brother Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark, and thus the true rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Tyrion wonders aloud at how the past 20-odd years of wars, from Robert's Rebellion to the War of the Five Kings, all in one way or another reverberated from Lyanna choosing Rhaegar instead of Robert. and they wonder what would happen if the truth came out. And Varys acknowledges that the North would obviously switch to support Jon. Sansa would make sure that the Vale would as well, instantly losing Daenerys 2 of the 7 kingdoms. And Tyrion asks why they don't just pursue the easy solution, the marriage alliance. And Varys rebukes that Daenerys is Jon's aunt. Tyrion's like, well, that's never really bothered Targaryens before. And Varys is like, yeah, but Jon's a northerner.
How do they feel
fuck
about
with
that in the
marrying
North?
their aunt?
Yeah, how do they feel? Oh, yeah, dang, that is right. Incest is kind of going out of style, I
Going out of
guess.
style up
Yeah,
there.
strangely enough, for some reason, just not quite in anymore. But yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense here. You know, I mean, they would be a power couple, that is for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn, would it be kind of crazy to see if, how that would have worked out if she didn't go off the deep end, and Jon is kind of there to be the one to tame her deep end, desires and stuff. But that's no. I don't know. This
Not good.
I like these conversations though. This one's a precursor to my scene. That we'll eventually get to, but I love like just when they get down to just kind of the politic and the philosophy and all that sort of stuff. And this one,
oh yeah,
they're getting into it a little bit, but not quite the scene that I picked yet. But man, I don't know. I feel really bad about not remembering the funeral at the beginning, which is kind of nuts. But at least you gave it the nod, so I guess it has gotten one. But I don't know. No other scene has like called out to me. Like it you're right. Like the whole time, no other scene has been that one.
Yeah. Varys says, he's starting to worry about Daenerys' state of mind with her growing isolation, and Tyrion goes, we are her advisors. It is our job to worry about her state of mind. And Varys kind of looks at him like, yeah, you know what I mean, though. And then above deck on the same ship, Missandei and Grey Worm hold hands as Dragonstone Island comes into view. Daenerys soars over the fleet on Drogon, accompanied by Rhaegal. And I love that Jon was like a little bit ago with Tormund. Tormund was like, oh, you're not riding the dragon south. He's like, nah, he's healing. He doesn't need my 160-pound frame on him.
Good call, actually. Great call.
Yeah. Good little workaround.
He needs to heal.
Yeah. He can't handle any more weight. The flea-sized man Jon is on the back of a dragon.
Why didn't they just say, I'd rather be with my army? Like, why didn't Jon just be like, I'd rather be with you guys instead of just flying on a dragon? Like it could have been that instead of he needs to heal. And then seconds later, in the two,
what are we doing?
Two absolutely domed shots. I mean, just pinpoint accurate. Couldn't have been better. 2 first shots, and then
ow,
and then just they can't hit Drogon.
Nope,
at all. The bigger one, the bigger target that's flying straight at them. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry.
This is the part in the behind the scenes, like the inside the episode, that is always so fucking deliriously funny. I believe it is David Benioff, who says that Daenerys just kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet.
Huh? They were
literally brought up in the War Council about 4 scenes earlier.
Maybe D&D forgot about them.
They wrote about them earlier in the episode.
So what are they trying to say here? What are they?
Just they wanted to kill another dragon. So they wrote a thing where they were hiding behind rocks, an entire fleet that Daenerys couldn't see from up in the sky. They come to a point where they fire 2 bolts and then they emerge from beyond the rocks also.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's awful. Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
Genuinely fucking stupid.
The way
Um,
Viserion dies, I
sure, take it.
the Night
Yeah,
King needed a dragon. This sort of makes sense. It's magic, whatever the fuck. I don't know. This was just wow.
that's
If
ridiculous.
you're going to
But,
kill a dragon, one of 3 that we have total, you'd think it'd be a little more monumentous than just
then,
random shock to you're like, wait, is he dying right here? You're like, holy shit, that
Mhm.
first one, that doesn't look good. And then the second one, you're like, oh no, this dude's fucking like,
No, he's fucking
yeah, he's
done.
fucked.
Yeah, it goes from, like, the really triumphant, like, "Ah," like, Daenerys riding her dragon theme to, "Oh, fuck! Oh, god damn, ow."
Yeah, and Drogon being like,
Um,
he like
what the fuck?
poor Drogon. Really just seeing both of his brothers just go down
Yeah,
pretty
it's a damn
brutally.
shame.
But yeah,
But, yeah, these new weapons are more numerous and much more powerful, being mounted onto the front of ships, punching deep through Rhaegal's iron-hard scales. The first bolt in his chest is soon followed by a second to his wing. The injured dragon's blood-curdling roar of agony is silenced when a third bolt impales him through the throat.
oh,
And
there was
overwhelmed by the shot,
3?
there was 3. One of the second one hit his wings. Um,
Yeah, good on him. Whoever these first 3 marksmen were, they're fucking good. But everyone else,
they're good. Can't hit shit.
plot
But,
armor. Drogon has.
yeah.
So.
The first bolt in yeah, so all that. Overwhelmed by the shock and blood loss, Rhaegal plunges into the sea, where he sinks beneath the surface of the water. And distraught and enraged, Daenerys tries to make an attack run with Drogon and Euron's ship, but all of the scorpions start raining bolts at her, and she barely manages to turn away and escape with her life. Euron's ships then target the ballistae of Daenerys' fleet,
Ooh.
smashing them to splinters. Brilliant naval weaponry. And Grey Worm urges Missandei to flee to safety by taking the skiff to shore, but they are soon overwhelmed and separated in the chaos. Tyrion, a sequence where Tyrion is trying to avoid getting hit, and shit just keeps flying past him, and stuff's destroyed around him. He jumps into the
He's like,
water and then
fuck it,
bonk on the
water.
head.
Yeah, he's like, I
Mm.
can't go anywhere else. Fuck it, gotta go to the water. Yeah, that was
Mhm.
little. I don't know. It kind of just felt like the same thing over and over. Like he'd walk a couple steps, walk a couple, like it was like I don't know. They could have. I thought it was cool, but like it seemed a little too repetitive. Like I don't maybe switch it up. I guess it is just the chaos of everything, but I don't know. This I felt like we had a sequence like this. Yeah, Euron whenever he was attacking like with Theon and Yara
Yara.
on that like
Yeah.
that naval battle was so much fucking better. And this one we have way cooler weapons. We have 2 dragons, one just died, and like I feel like this would be the naval battle that you would think would be the best one of the show, but it ended up I don't know, not.
I mean, it ends up being superior firepower. Like, there's nothing personal about it.
I
It
see.
can't be much more than this. They were
Yeah.
ambushed, they were overwhelmed. It's just like,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? But anywho, they wash up upon the shore, the survivors of the destroyed fleet, and Grey Worm stands ashore only to realize that Missandei isn't with them, and in horror he calls out for her.
Mm.
But later on in King's Landing, Cersei Lannister gloats with Euron over their victory. From the Red Keep, Cersei watches the city gates as thousands of refugees flood into the city. Qyburn acknowledges that Cersei's true intention is proceeding as planned. Thousands of commoners are coming into the city to seek protection behind its walls from Daenerys' army, and when in truth, Cersei wants them as human shields. And she knows that Daenerys doesn't want to be seen as a tyrant, and the risk of heavy civilian casualties will deter her from making a direct assault. And Cersei feels that the Northern and Targaryen armies are so exhausted after fighting the White Walkers that she can regain the upper hand, gaining strength by the day with new allies such as the Golden Company. And Cersei proudly declares that the lion will rule the land while the kraken rules the seas, and their child shall rule it all. And a surprised Euron looks to Qyburn, like dead ass.
Yeah, is this for real? Is this true? Yep, man.
Mhm.
You did it. Good job. Yeah.
Yeah, but Cersei then turns to Missandei, taken captive by Euron in the attack, brought before her in chains, and sarcastically gloats, "The breaker of chains, indeed."
Ah, man. Yeah, This one's just unfortunate. I mean, Cersei, like, it is the perfect play for Cersei. Like, I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely, there really couldn't have been a more perfect play for her. Well, kind of doomed her, actually. Like, Cer- Daenerys was already on the way to going there, but this
Yeah,
one was
no, I
just,
mean, Rhaegal dying and Missandei being taken captive, as it is portrayed in the next scene, is it. At Dragonstone, the furious and bereaved Daenerys meets with her remaining advisors in the chamber of the Painted Table. Grey Worm grimly says they should storm the capital city at once. We should
mm-hmm,
kill them. We should kill them. And Varys says that this is a mistake, as Cersei has not kept it a secret that she has swelled the city with refugees to use as human shields. So not only are these not all just people from King's Landing, people have traveled from far and wide to get to King's Landing.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and he pleads that trying to remove Cersei's tyranny like this would in itself be an act of tyranny and turn the people of Westeros against her. Daenerys says she knows her purpose in this world, to remove tyrants, and she will tear out Cersei root and stem. And Tyrion agrees with Varys and insists that they must offer Cersei the option to flee Westeros with her life. Ignorant that Ned Stark once offered Cersei the same option, but she is convinced that you either win or you die.
Mm-hmm.
And with no middle ground, uh, Daenerys, barely restraining her tears and her rage, nonetheless relents, not because she thinks Cersei will ever surrender, but because she would look bad if she didn't at least go through the motions of offering it to her. And she delivers my favorite line of the episode, which is, I want the people to see. They should know who to blame when the sky falls upon them. She's already decided. She's already decided this is what she's going to do.
Dang, you're right. Yeah, why would she say that? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
When the
like, they should know
sky
who to blame.
falls
They should know who to
upon
blame
them.
when this happens because it's going to happen. And they should blame Cersei for it, even though it'll be me doing it.
Wow, maybe it was just actually hyping herself up until she could do it. Like, she's like, "I'll
Mhm.
start with the army. I'll start by getting my troops in, but I know what I'm doing. I know what my mission is." She's like,
I think she tries to restrain it as much as she can, and then she's like, "Nah, fuck it." Um,
mm,
but everyone will know it was Cersei to blame when Daenerys brings the sky crashing down on King's Landing, and Tyrion and Varys offer no other option. They're like, "Fuck, okay." And later on, Tyrion and Varys meet alone in the throne room, and Varys outright questions if Daenerys is fit to rule, and if perhaps Jon Snow would make a better monarch. He's more temperate, appealing, and also a man, which to many lords in Westeros makes him an inherently better candidate,
mm-hmm.
even ignoring that by simple birth order he outranks Daenerys. And Tyrion weakly tries to argue that Daenerys has to be strong and instill fear in her enemies, and Varys says that he will always act in the interest of the people, and thousands of innocents will die if Daenerys tries to attack Cersei. And Tyrion pointedly asks if he thinks Daenerys will exceed if Jon says he wants to sit the Iron Throne instead of her. But Varys silently shoots him a look, obviously implying that he means they should assassinate Daenerys if she chooses to attack King's Landing. And Tyrion can only mutter that Daenerys will make the right choice. You know, we are talking about treason. That whole scene, it's really good. I love that
Yeah,
scene.
that
But,
is the scene I ended up going with.
good
And
choice.
I do realize that the funeral, yeah, it does hit harder. But I guess this one, Varys was my character for the episode for this moment as well. For him, like standing up in front of Daenerys, being like, "Hey, you told me," or like I told you. Like I would tell you if you're ever making a mistake, you're making a mistake. I'm true to my like. Varys is maybe, like actually the closest to Jon in the sense of like his honor is to the realm, and like nothing will trump that at all. Like
No.
he will always fight for the realm, and he's like Tyrion is blinded by the fear and by like just
Hoping he
hopefully
made
it
the
does.
right choice.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to be the hand of the king of
The person who massacres the kingdom,
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
So
so
yeesh.
yeah, I mean, that's probably the only way to feel, but, at Winterfell, Jaime Lannister arrives in the courtyard to see that Sansa Stark and Brienne have just received a message from Varys, informing them of the attack on Daenerys' fleet and the situation in the south. Cersei killed one of the dragons that Daenerys loves like children and took her close advisor captive. And Sansa Riley notes to Jaime that they will execute his sister for this, and she always kind of wished that she would get to see that, which I loved that delivery.
Ooh, yeah, she doesn't care what she's not holding back anymore. She's I don't know, I love this. Yeah, I love this line from her, and makes Jaime all the more like, oh fuck, like
I gotta die with my
shit.
woman.
Yeah.
But later that night, Jaime gets up out of bed from the bed he now shares with Brienne and thinks long and hard, and Brienne awakes to find him gone, then rushes to catch him outside as he saddles a horse to return south to Cersei. And Brienne starts crying and pleads that he doesn't need to go to her. He is a good person now, and Jaime bitterly tells her that he isn't. He threw Bran out of a window for Cersei, killed his cousin Alton to get back to her, and nearly killed every man, woman, and child in Riverrun for her. Brienne says that Cersei is hateful, to which Jaime responds, "So am I," and rides out of the castle, leaving Brienne weeping.
Thank you, Gwendolyn Christie.
All contingent of the Unsullied escort Daenerys Targaryen. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's
like, thank you, Gwendolyn Christie, for the performance, but man, was this? Yeah, I think you're right. It's just we needed more time for Jaime's story to breathe, and if it does breathe, then this maybe it works.
It makes Brienne's reaction just fucking pathetic.
So sad. Like, this is just all around just sad. Like, it. She
Brienne's not pathetic.
No, but she's always made to look it like she wanted Renly, but Renly's gay. Obviously, just not gonna work there. She wants Jaime, but Jaime loves his twin sister. It's like she just can never win, but she's always given like the kind of top tier of I don't know. She's always kind of been after,
she's got the best like dudes out here.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just
like on paper.
Not many people can say they fucked Jaime Lannister. I think that's only Cersei.
Literally Cersei.
Yeah, actually. Wow, that's actually. And yeah, Brienne and Cersei. That is it.
But yeah, anywho, a small contingent of the Unsullied escort Daenerys Targaryen and her advisors to approach one of the gates of King's Landing on the landward side opposite of the docks, and they see that the defenses have been drastically improved. Each of the city wall towers now has one of the anti-dragon ballistics that Qyburn developed, and Drogon, Daenerys' last remaining dragon, hangs back behind them on the ground, stalking back and forth in anger. Cersei Lannister stands atop the gatehouse with Euron Greyjoy, the Mountain, and the chained Missandei. And Tyrion Lannister approaches the gate to parley, and Qyburn comes out alone to speak with him. And Tyrion says that Daenerys asked for Cersei's unconditional surrender, to which Qyburn counters, "That's ironic. Cersei is asking for the unconditional surrender of Daenerys." He points out that the Northern and Targaryen armies have been badly depleted and exhausted by fighting the White Walkers, while Cersei has reinforced hers with the Golden Company. And their news mean that it would be a risk to attack with the dragon and kill many innocent people. And despite Cersei's earlier betrayal in the Dragon Pit Summit, Tyrion nonetheless walks closer, just marches right past Qyburn, which I really liked. I like.
It's like, this isn't going to get anywhere. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude's just gonna be spitting the fucking dogma at me, so I gotta go talk to her. But he attempts to plead with Cersei once more, and Cersei gets the archers to get ready to shoot him. After a long pause of consideration, Cersei once more can't bring herself to do it. Why? I don't know.
At least I think this was just more of like a display of power. That like if she wanted to, and I love that like if like one of those archers just kind of like oops, like oh shit, I let go of my arrow, it's over. I wonder if like that's just ever happened in history, like to have an army draw against someone. It takes one person to just kind of oopsie. Like that's gone down. But no, I guess I liked the moment of Cersei just kind of being like, just a simple hand move, and I think that's always like that's real power there, and I think that's where she's.
I think it's but she's considering it.
Yeah, that is true.
When she puts down her hand, she's like, it's kind of the same thing as what happened
Mm,
with the mountain earlier.
yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because technically he's broken the rules of engagement by marching past the representative. So now it's not technically breaking the rules of
Mm.
war if she perceives an attack from Tyrion,
Mm-hmm.
which it is not clearly, but she could always say that.
True.
Um, you
Technically,
know,
she could kill him legally
yes,
here. Rules
it'd
of
be
war.
fine according to the rules of war,
Mm-hmm.
at least how I perceive them to be. But
Yeah. No, she wants to
desperate,
start a war, and killing
yeah,
Tyrion would probably do that. But her other option is, I think, a little more surefire.
a little more affecting. She's like, I've already got a plan that'll probably get to her pretty good. But
Mm-hmm.
desperate, Tyrion begs that she is not the monster she thinks she is, and that her one redeeming feature is that she's always loved her children. Cersei might prefer to go down in flames, dragging Daenerys with her, but it would be condemning her unborn baby to death. And they flash to Euron, who's like, hold the phone.
Mm.
How the fuck does he know that? Um,
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't. I
yeah,
didn't think
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Euron's like, wait a second.
I was
What's
just
what's
told this. Yeah, he's like, I
yeah,
was
like,
literally just told. And I'm the dad. What the fuck? Here he's
yeah, how
like,
the fuck does he know
he's
this?
like, also,
So either Euron's too big of a dumbass to realize who really who really is the
mm,
dad, or
mm-hmm. Just kind of
he's
just,
just
I'll brush
capping.
that off. Oh, okay, that's
Fuck it.
weird.
Or again, the writers forgot. Who knows? But Cersei pauses, thinks on it, and then quietly tells Missandei that if she has any last words, now is the time. And defiant, Missandei shouts, Dracarys! And with a nod from Cersei, the hulking Gregor decapitates Missandei with a single swing of a sword. And the way that Daenerys and Grey Worm, like Daenerys marches forward, but Grey Worm was marching forward anyway, which I
Mm-hmm.
loved. Uh, and the
Mm.
performance from Jacob Anderson, where he turns away and breathes really heavy, is really strong. But I went Emilia Clarke
Oh yeah.
because there are very, very few people who can do seething rage the way that
The
she's
like
able to capture it.
the little
Yeah,
twitch on like the upper lip nose
yeah,
area. Like,
yeah. She's good
that's
at it. She's good
yeah.
at it. And she also had that really moving moment with Jorah earlier in the episode. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, she was my pick for a performance. But
I like that.
yeah, no, this one hurts. This one actually did get me to tear up and cry a little bit, just because it's Missandei, man. If there's like anybody in the show who just like does not deserve that, it's Missandei. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this was the last. This was it. It was
Yeah.
already going that way, but now it's fucking over.
G. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
there's I don't it's kind of like Cersei is wanting King's Landing to burn down almost a little bit. Like she's like, "Well, if I'm not going to win, then I don't know, maybe that I don't know. It's like they'll go down with me." Uh
I don't know.
but
She's very confident they've got this in the bag at this point.
you think
Yeah. After they killed that dragon, it shows that they have the capability to kill the dragons. That is the only that's the only thing she even begins to be worried about. And now that they've proven that they
mm,
can, she's like, "Oh, we're good. Their
mm,
armies don't stand a
I
chance against what we
guess
have now
yeah.
that they're fucked."
I guess I
You know?
was of the mind that like there was always the idea that Daenerys is holding back. Like if she wanted to, she could have gone through, done what she wanted to do long, long ago. So like
Mhm.
and Cersei knows that. So that's why she knows she's safe, sort of thing. That she knows Daenerys is holding back. And that is her
Mhm.
weakness. But now that's no I think that maybe this is why Rhaegal dies. To show that if she wanted to, this is all she needed. She just
Oh,
needed
yeah.
one dragon and the decision to actually do it. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I love like the like the camera like just staying on people like Tyrion, like looking back at Daenerys, like knowing full well what's about to come. She turns away and he's like, "All right, well, okay."
Peter
Y-
Dinklage does really good at dejected,
mm,
like,
like,
fuck. Oh god. Yep, that's it. That's
yeah.
that, isn't it? He's really good at it. So I mean, it was a really middling episode in terms of execution. I do like a lot of the stuff that happens. It's just that it's not done well. I think that the events, if given more time, could have paid off in a really meaningful way. If this episode was, say, 3 episodes,
Yeah.
it could be 3 really good episodes.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
why this breakdown is super long, and that's why like it took a long time to get through this episode because like legitimately just so much happens here. And like usually breakdowns are not this long. Like I don't know, like I was just kind of scrolling down while you're reading and then I'm like just checking in at to see where we
it's
were.
absurd.
Boom. Yeah, it just kept going. Yeah, it was insane. The death section though. Man, two absolute heavy hitters from the show. We got Rhaegal and Missandei. We'll say goodbye. It's sad
It's a damn shame.
to say goodbye, but yeah. No, you're right. The things that happen, they're cool, but if it was spread out amongst at least two episodes, would have just been so much better.
Yeah,
So
no, it's really disappointing to be getting to this point and realizing that everyone's fucking right. Really blows. But
kind of just is
before we
that
get to the
way.
rating, before we get to the rating here,
Mhm.
go ahead and do the plugs real quick if you would. Head to patreon.com/pennybloom.pod where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. So much stuff over there. It's been a lot of fun to do, and I have a great time doing it. We do, and I do a lot of writing over there as well, which you can have access to for $1.50 a month. All that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on. Costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Instagram and TikTok while you still can at Penny Bloom Podcast. um, uh, go watch us on YouTube. Got a lot of fun stuff. You know, you get to. There are some things I try to do my best to talk out loud as much as I can when I'm imitating or expressing or
Mm.
you know. But there's certain things that will slip through the cracks if you're only listening. You can
Mhm.
watch, you can see our expressions, you can see what I'm doing, you can see what we're doing, and I think it helps. You know, if that's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. No biggie. But if you do have an interest in watching, you should. You should look up Penny Bloom Podcast on YouTube. Check us out there. Um, but yeah, leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. Helps us a lot. But with that, we can go ahead and give this episode a rating. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Well, it's not last episode. It's not a 10 enjoyment. I know that. I know that for sure. It is not episode 2 and 925. Episode 1, we're at a 7.5. I think we're getting there.
We give episode 1 a 7.5.
Enjoyment.
Okay. That's tough.
I
It's tough to
don't
reconcile.
know. Like
Um,
I do like it's a lot of my gripes are from the critical side of things. But
yeah,
the critical gripes
it absolutely
do
affected my enjoyment of it.
crazy. Yeah, it
Um,
drops it by a
like
lot.
when we look at Rhaegal's death, uh, when we look at Jaime leaving Brienne, when we look at Missandei's capture and ultimate demise, which I don't think is done poorly particularly, but it's done quick. It's done quick. She gets captured and she's dead like 7-8 minutes later.
Mhm.
Um,
Rhaegal is healing and then he's dead
mhm.
very soon after. Yeah, it's very very they like to completely go against what they are saying. It's just they want shock. They want
God, they love subverting expectations,
it's
and
like
that
all
pisses me
they
off.
think that is what makes good TV. Like honest, I don't know. It's what it seems to be. That they
Oh yeah,
think
that's
it's
all D&D bank on is shock value and subverting expectations. That's all they wanted out of this last season. It's why Arya is the one who kills the Night King. It's why Daenerys burns the city down. It's why Jon kills Daenerys. It's why Bran ends up on the throne. It's why Rhaegal dies suddenly. It's why Missandei dies suddenly. It's why all of these things happen is because they're trying to get you to go, "What?" And on first viewing, maybe that works.
mm-hmm.
Maybe. even that didn't work for everybody. It's just a lot. So, I think that this episode is kind of a perfect encapsulation of the final season. A lot of good ideas, a lot of good thoughts, but the execution's just not there.
Yeah, on a regular
I
season, we're
mean,
not even halfway through. And we're more than halfway through with this episode. And it doesn't, I don't know. I think I'm at like a
7.
5. I don't know.
Damn.
Like, I'm like kind of like, there are some parts that I do like, but then there's a lot. Well, maybe I'm not that low yet. Maybe
I'm like, are you projecting a little bit of what's to come onto this episode?
Where we ended this episode. The things that I did hate, Rhaegal and Jaime. I could say like comfortably those two things I think should have been handled a little differently.
Here's my thing. It's kind of jarring that we gave the first episode a 7.5. Now that I think about it, maybe I do like that one more.
Let's see what happened.
But not a lot, not by a lot. Like I enjoy this episode to a degree.
It's not as much as episode 1 though, I don't think. Like I don't
I
know.
don't think so
I
either.
think it's
But where my gut took me this week was like a 6 to a 7, which I don't think I liked the first episode that much more than it, which is why I'm like,
I see.
that's an interesting place to be. But
Like
I mean, like, I'd
the
be
good
cool with
parts
this
we do get, the feast and the drunk and all the happy.
funeral. Like it's there are very good moments, and I do enjoy those character beats. I do a great deal, but the Tyrion and Varys interactions are really good. Some of their last interactions, like those are really strong.
Okay. Yeah, I think of 5 is way too. That's crazy. Now that I was around there, that is nuts.
I would say 6. I would say 6.5 or 6.75.
Yeah, a whole point below episode 1.
I mean, episode 1, Jon learns who he is. He rides a dragon for the first time. Daenerys is in Winterfell for the first time. I mean, it's a real setup episode, to be sure, but
We're not dealing with like very like pacing issues and a lot of other things. I think
no, in fact,
maybe
they let the story breathe.
Yeah, I think maybe a
Like,
full point below actually kind of works there. I think it does make sense. Yeah.
I mean, we weren't nice to the first episode critically, if I recall correctly.
A 6.
5.75, 5.5.
Yeah, this is it's so 6 is the ceiling. I think like yeah.
I think it's just above middle of the road. Like I think it's like it's still incredibly well shot. It's incredibly acted. The score's still working. The editing's good. Like the thing is that everything is firing on all cylinders except for the writing.
Which is arguably
I mean, it's an extremely important part. The thing is that television and movies are a different medium. You can have just an okay story in a movie with a brilliant visual experience, a brilliant audio experience, a brilliant editing, like you can have all those things in a movie, and it's much better than Game of Thrones, where the entire show has been basically prided on its writing. It was at one point the best written show of all time. So if you fall off this fucking hard, it's terrible. It's god awful. So,
yeah, I think it is. I think 5.5. That is crazy. Like at the beginning of the show to give something almost middle of the road seems impossible. But we've reached it.
Yeah, here we are.
We have reached it. That average the episode comes out to a 5.83, which
that makes it far and away the worst episode we've had.
Episode 1 of this season was a 6.5. Yeah, I mean there's a 7.17. That's episode 1 of season 7. Everything. Oh, okay. There's a couple other 7s. Nothing gets into the 6s or the 5s in which we are at now. So, yeah.
I mean, this is on IMDb one of the 3 worst episodes of the show.
5.5. Wow, that's actually that's nuts.
And the other 2 worst episodes of the show, are the next 2 episodes, according to IMDb. So we got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. But yeah, just we hit the peak last episode. We're sliding down the hill. Now we hit the boom. We hit the drop off. I think next week. But
hey, it is what it is, man.
did Arya kill anybody?
Nope.
No, nothing at all.
Gendry's heart.
That's good. Yep, I like that. Oh, poor little Gendry. He was just a little horny, you know. At the end of the day, dude just wanted to. He was
But
riding high, but okay.
before things get any worse, I want to make an announcement. This will be the last episode of Game of Thrones we cover. We won't be covering episodes 5 and 6.
Fuck it. Yeah, done. Show
is it.
concludes right here.
Winter is Blooming wraps up 2 episodes short of the finale. Just don't want to do it again. Just don't want to do it. April Fools, man. It's over. You know, like we're gonna ride this thing out. It is what it is.
It is man. Wouldn't it have been perfect if next episode would have fallen on April Fools? Like that would have just been even better. If yeah, 1 week away.
But yeah, no, we've got a shit show coming. Can't wait. But this Wednesday we're covering what I'm pretty sure is going to be a pretty great movie as we continue our Dev Patel actor spotlight. The Green Knight is this Wednesday for the podcast, and I'm so very excited to watch that for the first time. I cannot wait. I've heard just brilliant things about it, so I'm looking forward to that greatly. That's this Wednesday, and we continue our coverage of The Bad Batch this Friday. I'm so very excited for it, and we will be back with Winter is Blooming next week with The Bells. That's the biggin. It's the biggie. Let's we ride. But
yeah.
Yep, that's what's to come, and yep, that's what's next week. And next week we will also be arriving at Monkey Man, Dev Patel's new feature film, his directorial debut, written, directed, and starring Dev Patel. Very excited. It's what our last few weeks of Dev Patel content have been in anticipation for. So go see that. Go see that this week, and come back next Wednesday and, listen to us talk about it. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And which one of you cowards shit in my pants?